Welcome back to the Dukes of Weebdom,
Dukes
episode
of
5.
Wisdom, episode 5.
Got something special planned today.
Our top 5, top 10, top 5. Top 5 is a small list. Top 10.
Shit in the bed already.
Just a little bit.
Top 10s of combined anime and manga, because
Yes,
you
absolutely.
may not know, I'm actually a pretty young monk. Well, not young in age, but young to manga reading.
We're still young-ish. I'd say we're not old yet, but
I mean,
you know.
You don't want me to finish the sentence, but I was about to say I'm pushing 30.
Yeah, you're pushing 30. You're
I'm
not
pushing
30 yet. Mister, I'm almost 32 over here. I'm 32 this year. Brutal.
So yeah, I don't even think I have 10 finished manga under my belt yet. I'm pretty sure I have 5, personally. So,
Well,
combined list was better.
I mean, that depends on your category of manga under my belt.
Not porn. Manga. I didn't say doujinshis.
Well, actually, very few of those.
Fan comics.
Manhwas, webtoons, webcomics, that's where it's at. Anyway,
But yeah.
anime, top 10s,
So yeah, top 10.
plus manga, with some honorable mentions.
With some
Because,
honorable
of
mentions.
course, you can't not have honorable mentions in any form of top whatever.
Now, we haven't seen each other's lists yet.
No.
The only thing we did discuss is that we mentioned to each other that we didn't put a movie on our top 10s.
No.
So we decided to throw one in the honorable mentions.
Yes, mine's kind of in. Yes, I have one, but I also have a second one that ties into one
Okay.
of.
One of the actual listicles.
Yes, yeah, and it'll make sense once we get there. But,
Huh. I actually have a guess, but I won't say it now.
well, that's too because we can go through once. It comes to that. You can
Be like, that was
elaborate.
one.
That was it. And then we can kind of.
The moment you say it, I'll be like, that one.
That's the one.
It's good because I actually have a little extended honorable mention to mention on my list.
An honorable mention to the honorable mentions.
Yes, a little vestigial limb coming off of one of my entries.
All right, then let's start with that then.
Well, let's start with honorable mentions.
Oh.
Well, yeah, that one will come in a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah. So lay it on me. Your first one.
My first one, I'm going to go with the movie first. Probably my favorite anime movie would be Wolf Children.
I did remember, because I remember bringing.
I did let that one thing go because when we talked about the movies, I even said, "Well, if I did put a movie on my list, it would probably be Wolf Children."
Which makes sense. I mean, I've unfortunately not seen it, even though you've.
But you have seen Summer Wars, which is the same director or studio.
I
or
was
both.
honestly, when you showed me Summer Wars, I was surprisingly impressed.
It was
with that movie. That movie
gorgeous.
Was good. It was
Gorgeous. I think Wolf Children has the same visual fidelity, with a little bit less of the high concept stuff, and doesn't end on a board game that I don't know the rules to.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Or card game, whichever.
Whatever
Doesn't end
that
on
was.
Koi Koi.
Yeah.
And it's just a really gripping emotional tale. I totally cried 3 times, and 2 of them were happy moments. And I don't want to go into honorable mentions too much, so I'll pass the movie on to you.
All right. So, see, because there's, in terms of animated movies, there's a lot that I could say that would be oh, there's this one that I really liked, or that one I really liked. But one that's kind of niche. Well, it's not really niche for me. I hear people kind of mention it, but then it's just oh yeah, I watched that. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas.
I've heard the name before, actually.
So I've heard people it's weird because people don't really in depth talk about it. They kind of just be like, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it was good or whatever. I'm like, it was more than this is talk about a movie, man. That is, first off, by the way, it is not a movie you would think that of all the anime movies that action packed this or great visual effect over there or whatever. This is just strictly a story element movie, slice of life, love story kind of, but not actually.
It's sprinkled in there.
Yeah, it's it's a girl that has pancreatic cancer, I assume, because it has to do with her pancreas. I don't think they go deep into what. Either way, it's, at the beginning of the movie, she straight out tells you, "I'm gonna die soon," which is how the movie starts. That's how the two characters meet. It's like, "I'm gonna die in 6 months or a year." I forget the exact timeline.
Yeah.
But no one else knows except her mother, and this is just a random person she met in the hospital lobby, and she's just like, "I'm just gonna tell this guy because I can't tell anyone else, so I'm just gonna tell this random guy," and they become friends over it. And then there's a twist at the end that just kind of rips your fucking heart right out of your chest and crushes it in front of you. And
Brutal.
it just, I don't know, it's just the whole story, the storytelling behind it, the characters.
All just kind of comes together.
All comes together, and it's just one that whenever someone brings up movies, it's just kind of there. I mean, like, there's plenty of other ones I could mention. Like,
We're both Princess Mononoke fan.
I mean, anywhere. I mean, Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle.
To most people, Your Name and Silent Voice, which I
Those
haven't seen either yet.
Are both fantastic movies. Your Name was really, really hype and it got a lot of things, but then once Silent Voice came out, a lot of people seemed to because they came out recent, like close to the end of there. A lot of people focused more on the Silent Voice. I was more on the Your Name movie. They're both fantastic movies. And I mean, if I was going to rate one or the other better than the other, I would say it's only by like a point or two. Like say they're rated 9s. One would be a 9.2, one would be a 9. I haven't really thought about ratings, but just
fantastic.
Great movies, absolutely. But something about I Want to Eat Your Pancreas just puts it above those for me as an honorable mention for a movie.
I dig it. I brought a few series honorable mentions.
Lay them on me.
Because I was really getting into the idea of trying to weigh things I like recently versus nostalgic classics and not trying to write either of them off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I really like something new, I don't want to just arbitrarily be like, well, it's too new.
Yeah, recency bias. You don't want to, well, first, you don't want to be skewed by recency bias, but then also you don't want to.
I feel like it stops representing me if I'm like, I need to pluck you out for being too recent.
Yeah, or then be like, oh, maybe, yeah, because recency bias, you don't want to use that as, okay, maybe it's just because I've listened to it soon, but then also the same thing, double-edged sword, you don't want to be like, maybe I'm just looking at this negatively because I'm thinking about recency bias.
Am I overcompensating for recency bias?
Exactly, yes.
And I think Crunchyroll absolutely did that in the Crunchyroll Awards when they said, hey, we're going to cut out the whole winter season.
Well, was that this year?
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, no, but because
that's why Chainsaw Man wasn't nominated for anything because they did not put anything from the last season.
Well, no, because Bochi was a rock or whatever that is. I mean, people were super hype over that.
Wasn't anywhere on it either.
Well, because I thought I saw a post about how it won something or whatever. But I do see that, and I totally get why, because anything that was in the winter one would always win. It happens every year with Crunchyroll.
And to be fair, with the Crunchyroll Awards, it's public voting, and that's when recency bias is the most problematic.
Yes.
Because people are just going to pick the most popular thing that's freshest in their mind.
Exactly. Or might not even remember, what happened back in January and February of the year. You know what I mean? Oh, that was the year before. No, it was actually this year type thing. Yeah.
Which is fair for voting, but I still feel like it almost taints the list, because how do you take out Bocchi the Rock? How do you take out Chainsaw Man from the whole year?
Exactly.
So I try to keep that in mind. There is one thing I took off my list purely because it's too recent, and that was Dan Da Dan. And I feel like it still deserves to be on the list, because I don't think anything has given me the joy with opening each chapter and leaving happy and feeling something that Dan Da Dan does consistently.
Yeah, there's something about those characters, too. Just ISA, Momo, and Ken, my boy Ken Okuran are just... Gigi. I'm still not warming up to...
Ira.
Yeah, she's just... It's how her character started, you know what I mean? She's got a lot
and she's still abrasive.
She's a good character, but she's still got a lot to... She's got some work to win me over still. But
every time I walk away from a Dan Da Dan chapter, I feel something. And there's going to be ones on this list that aren't the same.
Right.
Like, I'm not spoiling any of them, but some of them will just have, like, a setup chapter or a build-up chapter. Dan Da Dan makes all of those feel good, too.
Mm-hmm. They do. The character interaction, just the characters themselves are just great, yeah.
Then I saw it next to some finished classics. I said, okay, it's going to be the only one I take off for being too young.
Makes sense. How many? First off, how many honorable mentions do you have listed?
Oh man,
Oh, jeez. I have 4.
I have 4 more.
4 more?
Yes,
Okay.
and some of them are gonna be quick because it's just more of like a few examples of
Yeah, so,
crossover.
all right, so I'll just throw one out too then.
Yeah.
So the easiest one to talk about, just lay out there, is, for me, my first honorable mention is Dragon Ball Z. Specifically Dragon Ball Z. Not Dragon Ball, not GT, not Super, Dragon Ball Z. And if I was to even make a top 20, Dragon Ball Z probably still won't even be in my top 20. But what Dragon Ball Z did for me as a child, if not for Dragon Ball Z, I wouldn't watch. Probably wouldn't be watching anime right now. It's just that's how impactful it was on me as a child. And it was everything. Me and my cousin in our backyard throwing Kame waves at each other every weekend, every after school. From elementary school on.
Screaming.
It was, yes. The amount of times I've tried going Super Saiyan when I was a kid, it's way too.
A few special beam cannons in there
Oh,
too.
of course, absolutely. Some Maseko Haas.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just everywhere. So it's way too of an integral part of my animated history to not be mentioned with the rest of these. Because without DBZ, the rest of these wouldn't be. I mean, I can't say for sure. But the path my life was on started with DBZ. Maybe without it would have started somewhere else, maybe. But that's where it was, so I have to mention it here somewhere. Obviously, it has all of its fucking problems, but again,
I actually
it's too good.
try not to fault some of the ones on my list for their worst parts, and that'll come in closer, like number 5 and stuff, where I have to talk about that.
Also, just quick segue. Can we just talk about how hard it was for me to do the middle sections? I knew which ones I wanted to put there, but I could not. The order of them, some of them, like, well, do I like this one more than this one? But then I kind of like this one more than that one, but not more than this one. So
When I get closer to this section, I can say better, but I had Dandadan in number 5, and the ones next to it probably would have made, like, old classic purists screech.
Oh, jeez.
And I was just sitting there being like, no, I don't care how people feel about it. I don't. But I was like, man, can I really put like these 2 finished animes up against like a 75 chapter manga that is flawless to me so far? Let me just say it again, actually. Flawless.
Yeah. It's great. It is good.
But to match your classic, I have a couple classics on my list too, because I want to represent nostalgia for the honorable mentions. Just really quick, Death Note. Nothing needs to be said.
Yeah, same. If I was to watch Death Note again, it probably still won't be for another 10 years. Just because of how many times I watched that. Because any new person that I was like, let
me show you.
They're like, what anime should I watch to get into anime? Death Note. I'll watch it with you.
I'm pretty sure we watched it together as a rewatch.
We've watched it together numerous times because I've shown like 4 or 5 people, and I watched it all the way through with all those people, and then also with you, we watched it together because we both watched it the first time separately. We watched it together once, and me and you together again with somebody else watched all of it. And that's not counting the other 5 people I've shown. So I've all anime, I've probably seen that one start to finish the most, which is why I haven't seen it in so many years, and there'll probably be so many more years until I see it again, just because of how many times I've viewed it. It just...
On a similar vein, my other classic that I put on my honorable mentions,
yes,
Fooly Cooly.
Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. I can't say for sure either.
Fooly Cooly.
That was pretty integral, not just to like anime viewing, but just kind of growing up even.
I remember when I first watched Fooly Cooly, I remember watching it all in one Saturday night. It was honestly probably the first time I stayed up until that, like, 4 a.m. hours.
When the Adult Swim fucking flag comes up and it's like, we're going back to regular broadcasting. It switches to Cartoon Network.
Yeah, so, because it's only like 6 episodes long, right? 5?
Yeah, 6.
5 or 6?
I believe 6, yeah, because I think
it was
5 is the gun one.
Late night Toonami, and
and for the longest time, they would just keep showing one episode of it a week.
Well, because I vividly remember watching the entire thing in one night on Toonami, and I was like, "This is amazing." And like I said, I think that's the first time that
Stayed up for the binge.
Stayed up for the binge, yeah. Later, then being like, "Okay, it's late enough to go to bed." It's like, no, we ain't going to bed until this stops showing on this TV.
Do you have a couple more?
I do. Mentions? So, one more for me would be Hellsing Ultimate, specifically, not the original Hellsing. Hellsing Ultimate.
Good. I still haven't finished it, actually.
Really? It's just really good, especially because like Hellsing original is good with the Nosferatu thing but it pales in comparison to Ultimate. Hellsing Ultimate is just so much bigger than regular Hellsing. It's just vampires at its best. No other vampire show does it better. It just does
the classic Hellsing smile.
Yes, exactly. And Crispin Freeman is
God.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not much more to say about that, Alucard. Let's go.
I just have a couple more to represent.
I got two more.
Stuff that are too young. I put Golden Kamuy here for the anime, because I'm not a manga reader.
You've been hyping that up for a while.
It's incredibly good. It also almost made the list, but I said, you know what? I might want to wait to see how the final arc goes, or if I ever decide to start the manga. Mm-hmm. But it has very realistic characters. It almost has like an adherence to realism to me, where the characters are always somewhere for a reason. They speak the languages they speak for a reason. This Russian guy doesn't suddenly know Japanese because it's convenient for the plot.
Right.
No, he's got to wait till the one guy that knows Russian from a couple arcs back is around him too. Like, it has... I don't know.
I do say, though, I haven't watched any of it, but you've shown me the comedy clips, and it's...
hilarious.
Its comedy is top notch. It's like the scenes when they had the aphrodisiac.
Yep, and they're in the bath and it's like, oh, I gotta get my clothes off. Your muscles are so nice. Ooh.
And then when it's over, they're like, we speak of this to know.
And that's the manga where the author ranked every male character by dick size.
Because he don't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck.
That's amazing, though.
And it also has a lot to teach about, like, Japanese history, culture, almost the flora and fauna at the time. Like, it almost has an educational aspect to it.
And you said there's a lot of historical characters in it, right?
Yes, the super escape artist that came from Japan.
Yes.
It actually takes place around one of the times he escaped from prison, and him escaping from a prison is entwined into the plot.
That's awesome.
Because they're hunting down prisoners, so it's even fully twisted bagel knot.
There you go.
And then the other one's Beastars.
I'm surprised it didn't make the top 10, to be honest with you.
Was it started on there, but it's also even younger than Golden Kamuy to me as an anime only. I'm 2 seasons in. I have a gripe with the end of the second season.
Which you still can't talk to me about because I still have been slacking hard on season 2.
Dying to.
We'll get to it.
But it very well could. That's why I put Golden Kamuy and Beastars there, because both of them have a gigantic potential to break onto the list, but I just didn't quite feel it yet.
Yeah.
But, I mean, nothing else needs to be said. Legoshi like me for real. I almost took him off the honorable mentions. I sat there, I was like, do I relate to any character more than Legoshi?
It's hard, yeah. Well, from what I've seen in season 1, I mean, we're going to... Leo? No. Did none of the other characters really get enough in depth other than... Louis, yeah, I'm sorry, I said Leo. Okay. Louis and Legoshi. And then, the rabbit.
And season 2 is still kind of that way. I'm not going to lie. It's like another character, you might get a little bit of them, but that's about it.
So my next one is a manga. Because...
Among Us?
A manga?
A manga. Oh, okay. I thought you said Among Us, so I was like, what?
What? No.
Is there a manga for that?
No. Tokyo Ghoul. Because season 2 and 3 can both go burn in fire. Season 1 of the anime is okay. It just mixes up the order of events on certain minor, the early chapters. So it's almost like 2 mini arcs. They just okay, this mini arc happens first in the anime. That in the manga, it's the opposite. Whatever. But it's one of the earlier mangas that read past the anime, not counting like the big three, Naruto, Bleach,
Yeah.
and those would probably be the first mangas. I think were the first. Bleach was probably the first time I ever branched into manga format, to be honest. But Tokyo Ghoul is really good, and that's like the Edge Boy
It's fantastic.
The art is so fucking good.
I was on Twitter literally either today or yesterday, and I saw someone do one of the adaptation next to manga ones. It's like what you did to my boy sort of deals. It was Kaneki when he's like, "I'm a ghoul," and then I see the manga page.
So
he has
good.
fingers in his face, his eyeballs popping out, his whole face is distorted shape wise because of how much he's tearing it apart.
You feel his torture in the manga by Jason way more. First off, they go more in depth with it. They kind of skim through his torture in the anime. I mean, it's still there, but it's like you'd think it happened over a few hours in the anime. No, it was like, I think it was like a week or two total in the anime. Constant torture, the amount of stress. He went through a complete mental breakdown that he doesn't fully recover from for the entire rest of the series. He is still fucked up from that torture.
God damn.
That's the linchpin in Kaneki's character. So much so that he completely breaks at the end of what would have been season 2 to where when Ri starts, he's a totally different person because they like fucked with his mind. He had complete and total mental breakdown. And it's so much better. The manga is just way, 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 way better than the anime.
I've never seen a bigger case of that like meme format in general. The gap between that anime shot and the manga,
it just pales, and there's so many more
Universes.
characters are just better fleshed out. It's just, if you're gonna watch or if you're gonna consume Tokyo Ghoul, please, I cannot stress enough, please just read the manga. It's just way better. And then season 3 did what season 2 of Promised Neverland did to Tokyo Ghoul. They sped it up so much because all of Ri's like 100 and plus chapters, and it's
gas. I
they-
gotta step on the gas.
the best thing that came out of Tokyo Ghoul anime is that opening song. Alright, stop before
Okay.
we just burn everyone's ears out.
Are we
with our
ready
terrible-
for the actual listicle?
Yes. Would you like to go first? Or you
I
want
would
me
like to go first.
Okay, yeah.
This is the only one.
10.
Number 10. It's the only one I'm actually worried might actually be on your list. So if it is, let me know now, and we can wait till then to both discuss it.
Okay.
My number 10's Angel Beats.
It is not.
It is not?
It is not, no.
Ooh, it almost got knocked off the list,
That's-
but it still made it.
Because that's one that I watched first, and then we watched it together.
And it is a fucking riot.
Because this was when we were watching anime in your basement, and at 3:00 in the morning, both your parents upstairs sleeping, and I can vividly remember the time watching that together, and I had to literally stuff my face into a pillow laughing as to not wake your mom up.
Yep.
And it's just so funny. I
probably
could watch it. I would never get tired.
I still
of
think
watching
it's the funniest anime I've seen. I mean,
It's
Konosuba's up there
yeah.
for sure. There's other animes with funny scenes that could compare, but as like a comedy anime, I gotta give it to Angel Beats. And then it fucking comes out of the shadows. It has a shadow clone waiting for you, and then it punches you in the face last episode.
Depression bat.
The whole episode just grips you by the guts and just pulls them all right out. Yanks them out.
There's
the graduation.
Yeah.
Oh.
Brutal. There's a few animes that try to do that, like Charlotte's one. That's very
Yeah.
similar. It's not heavy on the comedy as much as Angel Beats but then at the end too, it's much more
Clannad?
lighthearted. No, Charlotte.
No, I'm saying Clannad kind of feel like does, because I heard the
Yeah.
first season is a little bit more slice of lifey ish.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, pa!
So, but like Charlotte tried doing the Angel Beats thing with like the same thing. The last like 2 or 3 episodes do the same thing, but nothing pulls it off like Angel Beats does.
It's gut wrenching.
It is gut wrenching, and I mean, I could put that on at any time and watch it and just have a great time. That's a good one.
Until you
Get that.
cry again.
Yeah, maybe just skip those episodes.
No, never.
No, you can't. Too good. All right, so my number 10 is one. Yeah, probably the most nostalgic one. Maybe. Well, we'll talk about that more. But Rurouni Kenshin.
Ooh.
Yeah, Rurouni Kenshin, which ties into one of my movies that I talked about earlier, Samurai X. His backstory was for a long time my favorite anime movie. Until, mostly because it was one of the, other than DBZ movies.
The good.
The good. But that movie was, that hits hard.
I still haven't watched it.
It's a good movie. And it's that typical samurai action shonen, old school,
I cut you down, you go down.
Yeah, and then characters are great. Kenshin himself I just enjoy seeing his character because when you first meet him, he's just this goofy guy, and it's just like as it goes, you get into his backstory and really relate to him. Yes, hello, Miss Carol. So he's so polite, but then it's like this guy's murdered so many people in cold blood, and you're seeing the after effects of that, of him trying to
redeem his soul.
Yeah,
make
make penance for his sins or whatever, and that's why on the whole reverse blade sword, he doesn't want to kill anymore, and which numerous one of his enemies would have been swiftly dispatched if it was a normal sword.
Yes,
they're getting smacked with that thing.
Usually, like right on the collarbone too. He usually lets it go for that for the knockout.
Yeah,
like break your collarbone straight up.
You got cut in half just there if it was a real sword.
Yeah.
And the Samurai X movie is when you get to see him with a real sword. But
I'm excited for the remake because they're remaking Rurouni Kenshin.
They are, and I'm
cautiously
excited. Yes. A lot of that, what we're seeing. A lot of people are liking the new Trigon stuff.
I actually have a worse example.
I still think original Trigon still looks better to me.
You need to watch it.
I do. It's bad.
Before you start talking that.
I know.
This is the best time to watch it.
It is.
Because it's not on my list, but man, it definitely could have made those honorable mentions.
I mean, I've seen a bunch of episodes here and there from Toonami, but I've just never seen it start to finish.
It's so good.
Kind of like another one that brings shame to me.
But I was actually going to say, a almost more worrying case to me is the Shaman King remake. Because they remade it, from what I could tell, pretty faithfully, but no one watched it.
I was just gonna say that.
I dropped it. I don't know if it's the pacing or what. It had no hook.
I was never into original Shaman King anyway, but...
Oh, I loved original Shaman King. I fucked with that for real.
Yeah. But, so those are number 10s. Rurouni Kenshin from me, and Angel Beats for you.
Yep.
Respectable.
Here's my vestigial limb on mine.
Vestigial limb, number 9.
Number 9.
Lay on me.
So, I wrote out just a whole list of, a bunch of animes that could make the list when I was making
That's what
this
I
list.
did too. I just went through, and any anime that immediately came to mind, I wrote it down. And I ended up with something like 30, 35, and then from there I shortened the list. But like, no, these
I thankfully had a little more curated. I had 13, 15 maybe.
Oh, no, I just went ham.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I just kept laying out, because I didn't want to be that, I didn't want to forget an anime, because sometimes I can be forgetful.
Fair.
And then it just popped in, and I was like, I fucking love that anime. That should have been here or there, or it should have been an honor mention. I didn't want that to happen.
Complete side note, I really, really wanted to ham fist Phantom Requiem for a Phantom onto this list, but I just couldn't do it.
I thought about it too, and I just couldn't do it either.
Because I can't even remember the fucking... most of the scenes between the first episode and the last episode.
Their names are easy enough to remember.
I was about to say their names, but I just remembered them. I forgot them all week.
German one
right
and two.
here, right now, live. But yeah.
We're doing it live.
So I wrote out my list, and Samurai Champloo was one of them.
Is that number 9?
No, it is not.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised it wasn't an honorable mention, to be honest with you.
This is why I saved it for this sort of honorable mention prelude.
Yes.
Samurai Champloo is amazing, doesn't need any introduction. Actually, I did some research. And
Researcher.
Oh, wait, no, I remember his name now. Director, Shinichiro Watanabe. He's the same director as Cowboy Bebop, which also isn't on this list. And whatever.
Yeah.
But I kept looking at Samurai Champloo, And I realized within like the last 2 years, I watched something from the same guy that's just kind of better. Just kind of almost like his swan song, his magnum opus, and that's Space Dandy on my number 9.
I've seen you've shown me episodes of it, but I haven't watched all of it.
That's the one I said I didn't think I told the soul I watched it.
No, I definitely,
I
because me, you, and Cass watched it.
It's like everything great about Samurai Champloo just on crack.
It is. It's definitely
Artistic
like it was written on
masterpiece.
mushrooms.
The friggin' voice actors are having a hell of a time. The voice actor for Dandy knocks it right out of the freaking park.
Yeah.
Incredible colors, incredible plot lines, touching. I could barely even describe it, honestly. It's so hard because just like the other two of his works, it has an episodic quality where
What's
not
his other one? His the
Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo.
Oh, I didn't know that. That Cowboy Bebop and Samurai. I didn't know that.
And Space Dandy was his last of the 3 works.
Right.
It has that same kind of quality where it's episodic, where not all the episodes really connect together to make one plot line. But in fact, there's some episodes where like Dandy will become zombies and they all die, and the next episode they're just back.
Just a load of fun, really.
Yep, just an incredible load of fun. Lots of different animators, animation styles. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
Great,
all I could sum it up with.
So, number 9, I have to retcon something I said 5 minutes ago. That
Woo! Would it be our podcast if there wasn't a whole bunch of shit to retcon?
When I said that Tokyo Ghoul was one of the first ones I read manga after the anime, this one is the first. 100%, absolutely. There's no other way that anything other than what I mentioned, how Bleach and Naruto were the first actual mangas. The first anime I watched, I said I have to see more of this or whatever, see how this ends. My number 9, probably take you surprised, Tenju Tenge.
Ooh, that does surprise me. I looked at Tenju Tenge when I was making my list.
I just love Mitsuyomi and that whole backstory of him and Shin.
Don't get me wrong, I love Mitsuomi too. I do. Those abs could make this list.
Yeah, his training method of letting bullets crash into him and then he just snaps their heads off. He's a beast. But just that, I don't like the main character, but that's whatever. Just
teach you to mess with Soichiro Nagi.
Bunshinchi is the best.
Oh, so good.
In the manga,
I just think of Shin standing on top of the car with his Sephiroth sword, stabbing him in the legs over and over again, laughing.
Let me be perfectly clear right now. Bunshinchi only lost that fight because he was friends with Shin. I've seen
he
shit
even
that
punched himself off of that car.
There's if you wanted to power scale it, Bunshinchi is 100% the strongest person in the whole show, hands down. It's like Shin had like that psycho bullshit, and then Mitsuyomi beat his ass, and then got taken by surprise. Got taken by surprise, and then but Mitsuyomi and Bunshinchi fight in the manga way later. Fucking Bunshinchi's dodging Tachinkos and lights cigarettes with them.
Well, again, he got stabbed in the legs like, I think I counted, it was like 14 plus times.
It was a lot, yeah.
And then Shin sheaths his sword and Bunshinchi's like, now's my chance. And punches off of the car to punch Shin in the face with his bleeding ass legs.
Bunshinchi, everyone is scared of him.
Those are some of the best fights because they had real choreography to most of them too.
It was just, it's such a good story, and the manga, there's so much more that goes in because there's so much more character development that happens. I mean, I'm not going to say
it's like a 1-season Spike TV anime.
It was, yeah, and I'm not going to say it's the greatest character development ever. It's just, for me, it was like,
those are still some of the best fights ever, though.
For me, it was one of the first big martial arts animes for me, and it was just through and through. I just like that. I just really, really like that story. I can't really nail it down specifically. A lot to do with the characters, except for Shuichiro Nagi.
Bob was a G.
Bob is amazing. And
Bob is
criminally underused. He is.
Capoeira is like one of the most, as far as like Tekken games and watching fighting and martial arts tournaments, Capoeira is like up there in popularity. You should have been showing Bob off all the time.
Entertainment-wise, to watch it, amazing, perfect. But I agree, criminally underused, and Bob's amazing.
And I still go back and watch the beatdown of Takayanagi kicking the living shit out of Suichiro.
Oh, with the bento lunch thing?
Yep.
Oh.
He's kicking the shit out of him. He gets one cheap shot in, and then Takayanagi just beats his ass so hard you literally get a perfect frame of him throwing up blood and then mucus.
You couldn't watch a top 10 rage moments back in like the 2010s era without that being on the list. Somewhere.
Oh yeah, and I'd always be ready for it. I'd rewatch it every time I'm on that top list. I'm like, yup,
so
you right.
All right, let's bring it in.
Number 8?
Number 8.
This one probably won't be any surprise, actually. This is the one I had to ham fist in after I took Dandadan off my list.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, and it is Soul Eater.
Oh, nice.
What can I say? Some of the greatest style ever to hit the anime scene. It's still unique and holds up to this day.
I would say death is underused.
I should also mention, I'm saying the anime. Should want to throw that out there too.
Because I was just going to say that because the manga is different. They handled the what's his name?
The Kishin.
The Kishin. They handle him differently in the manga, from what I hear.
Handle a lot of things differently, from what I hear. I mean, there's no spoilers at this point. The one thing I do know in the manga is that I believe the Kishin is Death's brother.
That's a way better angle than whatever the Kishin was.
Yeah.
In the anime.
And I am going to read the manga. I already bought the first, the complete edition manga volumes. I think I have the second one too. So I plan to read through the whole manga. But right now, just the anime. Some of the best fights there are. Styles iconic.
Honestly, for its time too, some of those fights, man.
Medusa versus Stein.
That was so good.
Fire. The strategy in that, like him sewing himself to the arrow so he doesn't move, it was constant. Like
I'm sorry about moves. Names. Black Star.
Yes.
When he fought all the
kunais I loved him. Mifune?
Yes, I think so.
He had the swords.
Yes.
They shoot them out and they lay around the battlefield.
That fight was amazing.
Fire.
So good. So good. All right, so
all the characters were lovable and memorable. Sorry.
No. Kid. Death the Kid.
Death the Kid.
Amazing. Fantastic.
I even love Maka as a protagonist. She doesn't change.
She's
like
good,
most
and
protagonists. She's almost like Tanjiro to me. She's the glue that holds the other two weirdos together.
Yeah. And I forgot his name.
Oh, Soul.
Soul, yes.
Yes.
Makes sense. He's good too. Kind of like the he's another one. He's that wild character in Maka's
I'm a cool guy.
Yeah, but Maka's the one that kind of grounds him in that, and they work as a team pretty well. So
and the power system's lit. I mean,
it is, and I mean the moon is just like, who wouldn't want that moon?
I mean, it's unforgettable stylistically.
Yes. Yeah. Reminds me of something else, strangely, but I don't know if it's on your list or not, so I'll save it for a little bit. My number 8 is, so there's a few ones that have asterisks on here because I'm, again, going on anime only for certain ones. Mm-hmm. Spice Wolf. Mm. So I have not read light novel / manga, just seasons 1 and 2. There's been talk of a season 3 for the last, I swear, 3 years. I don't know what's going on with it or not. It's my number 1 waifu is Holo, so I can't not have her anime.
Can't not represent,
exactly. And it's just a nice, first off, if you don't like economics, you might not like Spice and Wolf. But screw taking an economics class. Watch Spice and Wolf. You'll learn more about economics than you will at any classroom.
Well, I learned more from that than in Another World with my abacus.
I don't know what that is, but yes.
I made it up. That's what it is.
Okay, then yes.
I'm sure there's an economy isekai somewhere out there to catch my fall.
I'm sure there's plenty. I'm sure there's probably 3 of them that are trying to compete with each other. But yeah, I mean, it's Holo. What else is there to say? Holo. Perfection.
In a nice art style too. I mean, I haven't watched it. I've seen pictures of Holo.
Yeah, you can't. No.
Yeah.
Just so, and the 2 main characters are they work so beautifully together, and just it's more of their interactions going through the world. He's a spice merchant, and she's
a wolf.
She's a harvest goddess, and yeah,
I just had to do
Yes.
the title thing.
There's really not much else I can say about it other than just that.
Other than it's a classic.
It's a classic. She's top tier waifu for everybody, and for reasons too. It's not just because she's who she is. You know, you watch that and you're like, this is an amazing character, and it's good stuff. What you got?
I have an incredible segue is what I got.
Lay it on me.
Number 7, another classic about wolves. Wolves Rain.
I knew it. I was waiting for it.
Right when I looked at my list, I'm just like dying.
So number 7, Wolves Rain for you.
Wolves Rain. I mean, it's hard for me to describe. This is probably going to be the most biased in my feels nostalgia take, because it used to be my favorite. Even the fact it's dropped this far was a surprise to myself. I can barely describe why I like it. It's a lot of sad
wolves.
boys walking around to some of the best soundtrack I've ever heard.
But wolves.
But wolves.
Yeah.
And being sad. It's when I think back, it's a lot of depression.
A lot of depression masked with
Very
wolves.
sad.
Yeah.
Wolves getting blasted by a spaceship's laser.
What's that cool badass dude from that I liked from it?
I don't remember his name even.
Wow.
The bad guy, the one that turns into a wolf.
He's
also the one that shoots them with his spaceship laser.
Because he's got like the most badass name, if I remember correctly, which is why I like him so much. Let me see. Is it Wolf S
Wolves.
or Wolf? Yeah.
Wolves, pluralized wrong. Yes, just the way you spelled it.
Okay.
It's their reign. They own that reign.
Yeah.
Darcia.
That's it, Darcy. It's that dude is so badass.
He's the one that shot them with laser beams and shit.
Yeah, like out of nowhere. It's like, where's all this high tech from? Of course, I don't know which one came first, but of course the main character's name is Kiba.
Yeah. Yep. Kiba, Hige, Sume, and Toboe.
All of them great characters because
They are.
I remember you showing it to me. I mean, I couldn't not watch it from you.
It's kind of arty sad, but it's also really good.
It is. I mean, it was an enjoyable watch. I mean, I couldn't fault it for anything. It was a good
there's some
watch.
slow moments where it's like they're being sad and walking, but then they fight a fucking walrus, and it's like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And then the last disc happens, and it's just really sad, and everyone dies.
Basically everybody.
One by one.
Always depressing when that happens.
Somehow it's labeled as the OVA for the last disc. I don't understand that.
Yeah, there's a few that do that. Like that. I feel like that
You
used to be
can't
a trend
remove
back
this
in
from
the
the
day.
story.
They used to be like, yeah, because that used to. I feel like that happened a lot with a lot of older animes.
Where the OVAs aren't
OVAs.
side stories.
They're not. They're like, yeah, like they're
Fucking
continuations.
Future Diary wants to retcon the good ending. Well, the ending that's good because it was bad, to make it a happy ending that sucks ass.
Just so that they can be happy. Screw that. Let them suffer.
It's not on my list. It almost made it.
I'm sad that it almost did.
It did almost make it. I still really like Future Diary.
Yeah, well, because
It has its faults.
because we mentioned it earlier. My number 7, Clanad. So
I should have known, to be honest.
season 1, to branch off of what you said earlier, and I specifically, not that I ignored it, but I specifically held my comments back for this reason. Season 1 is there is comedy elements, and yes, it's very lighthearted, it's very slice of lifey, but it's more of a supernatural, not mystery solver, but it's kind of like that. So like there's ghosts, and there's a bunch of weird stuff that happens that they fix as they go through, and it's just really a tale of this dude who had no friends. He makes friends with this girl who's gets sick a lot, and it just kind of goes through, and it's kind of like romantic comedy, but very light on the romance side until the end of season 1. And then actually, if you buy the DVDs and you watch season 1, there's episodes at the very end of the season, like what if scenarios of what if you went and got with each girl, and just really all the friends they make in high school. It's after years, Clanad after story or after year or whatever. I forget the exact term.
They start hitting you with the punches.
Yeah, because that's when it gets into the super slice of life, because now he's always been kind of like a deadbeat. His dad's a deadbeat drunk. He's the delinquent, you know what I mean? He's always getting in trouble. And it's really the after story that he gets a job as he fixes like the boxes on top of telephone wire poles. Like electrical stuff. Transformers, and like fixes lights. That's his job. So it's very labor intensive, and it shows the story of him and Nagisa the main female lead in their life after high school. You know, she's taken over the bread factory, the bread store, and it's just their life together and how they get married. And it's like, oh, this is so super happy, and then they hit you right in the fucking throat with her dying in childbirth, and it's just so depressing. And then him, and he just like gives up on life. The girl's still around, and then more stuff, and it's the first and only anime that's ever made me cry.
I can't say that.
It's the only one, and not even at the two sad parts, because the daughter eventually dies too, and I didn't cry at either one of those, which I would totally
you can feel me then. I cried at happy moments in Wolf Children.
Yeah, because I didn't cry when Nagisa died. I was like super sad about it, and now if I watch it, now that I'm married and with a child, when his daughter died, I would fucking
you absolutely would
crush me. Because I even noticed that now in anything I watch, I'm a lot more emotional when there's
sympathetic to children.
Bad things happening to kids. I'm way more sympathetic to now that I have my own child. But what got me was when he finally snapped out of his bullshit funk and accepted his daughter back, and they had that sweet embrace, and I just was like, nope, and I just lost it. It's just so good.
I've already cried to like 3 of the things I've mentioned. 4 of the things I've mentioned, and 1 of the things coming up.
Yeah, no, it's just Clannad's the only one that's done it to me. And I mean, I feel depressed with other things. It's just nothing has got
Just broke it through that wall.
Yeah, tears.
Not even Angel Beats? You didn't cry at the end of Angel Beats?
I was depressed, and
I cried at the end of Angel Beats.
I know, I was there for it. And I don't know, it's just like the original go-to depressing anime. If you wanted to cry back in the day, Clannad was the one to go watch to cry. And I own it on Blu-ray, and I'll forever own it.
I'll be ready to cry on need.
On demand, yes. That's actually where I started first. Before I went anywhere else, I went upstairs. I was like, so I haven't bought anime in a long time. I want to. DVDs are kind of being outdated these days, but like video games, all the video games I'm most hyped about, I buy disc. I have all the discs.
My disc drive's broken, so.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I can't even play DVDs.
I have all of my PlayStation games going back to PS2. I still have all of them. I've traded in 2 games my entire life. I have all of them. They're just collectibles to me. They're on mass. Anytime I want to play it, I can do it. Because not everything's always going to be available on PSN.
I have my PS2 games. I found a box full of those.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Clannad's, that's where I went to first. I went upstairs and I looked through my DVDs and I was like, which ones here are my favorites? And I pulled from that to start the list.
Ooh.
And then I went through like Mal and I just looked through my entire list
that
of
was a
everything.
nostalgia blast going through Mal.
It was. I had to edit some stuff. I had some cringe.
Another one I wanted to hand fist in was Terror in Resonance, but that was another one where I was like, I can't remember half of the anime, but I remember loving the shit out of it.
I remember you really wanting me to watch it, and I did watch it, and yeah, it was good. It's about basically terrorists.
Terrorists. It's hard to remember the middle.
The middle's hard, yeah, but the end is good.
So it didn't make the list, but I definitely thought about it.
Yes. Number 7 down.
Number 6 incoming.
Number 6. What you got?
Vigilantes.
Really? They mentioned Vigilantes in the latest episode of My Hero Academia.
Thank fucking God.
Not anyone specific. They just mentioned...
Okay. There was a group of vigilantes. What?
Yes.
Is it because Deku's going around... Oh, I don't want to spoil anything. Solo...
I mean, everyone's watching it right now in a way. And
well, I don't know what's happening in the anime right now.
Oh, you don't want to spoil me.
I don't want to spoil you.
Lady Nagan just happened.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he solo right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
is that why it came up?
All Might is with him, and so is Endeavor, Best of Genius, and Hawks.
So he's
supporting him in the back, but he's on his own.
Okay.
He's left UA. He's out there.
That's hardly a solo arc that everyone was labeling it, but
yeah,
okay.
It's really not that solo, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess I needed more spoilers. But yeah, Vigilantes. It is just a nice, self-contained story that's just...
They need to animate it. Maybe they'll do it when My Hero ends. They'll animate.
I really hope they do.
Yeah.
I hate to call it the true underdog story because someone else already put it.
Well,
nicely.
you told me his quirk, and I'm like, that's a useless. How do you fight with that?
That's what he goes around picking up trash at first. For those who don't know, Koichi Himawari, the goat, the man himself, that guy, has the quirk Slide and Glide. As long as he has 3 contact points on a surface, he can glide/hover on that surface along it at about the speed of a bicycle.
See, like, how do you fight anyone with that?
A little bit of spoilers. It does evolve a bit over time.
Okay.
But he still remains the underdog. And I even went through to pull up a specific quote that I think encapsulates his character perfectly. There's a big crisis. Of course, he's there to help before All Might comes in and saves the day. But Koichi gets fucking shit beat out of him on the regular doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone even turns to him. I think it was the hero there at the time. Let me just get... Yeah, Captain Celebrity, an American hero. He even turns to him. He's like, why the hell are you doing this? You're going to get yourself fucking killed. Like, and you're all... What can you even do? Like, why do you do this? He goes, I do what I can. And someone else comes and actually cleans up the mess. And that is consistently his story. He's never the guy that is, quote, equipped to handle the threat in front of him, but he's the person that's there first, that's there when it happens. He's like, I can't just walk away. I can't just, like, pretend it's not happening. I'm going to stand up
That's some
no
guts.
matter what I can do.
That's some guts right there.
And it just hits every time.
That's a hero mentality.
It is.
At its core.
And there's just so many incredible moments throughout the story of him doing just that, grin that teeth and just doing what has to be done. And there's also just really lighthearted moments, like all the times it's like, the mysterious man with a shaded past has arrived, the Crawler.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it when you were reading it, and you were really enjoying yourself a lot when you were reading it.
The moment, I'm telling you, when you go to read it, the moment you meet Knuckle Duster, you will not put this manga down.
Knuckle Duster, that's a great name.
Because he beats the living shit out of people.
I would hope so with that name.
This is a man's man.
The man's man.
This is a man's man.
Glorious.
It's just the whole main trio is incredible. I just can't recommend it enough. And they pulled this great bait and switch towards the end where there's 2 characters that are kind of being foreshadowed to die. One of them kind of has like a fake out death a couple times already. The other one's heavily foreshadowed to die. And by the end of that same chapter that's foreshadowed, you see both of them pull out of it, and then they bait you with Koichi possibly dying. And it was just so expertly done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sounds
great.
You literally thought you see both of them die, and they like both pull back, and it's like, oh, cool, great. And then Koichi, it's like, oh. I looked up Knuckle Duster, and it literally just gave me a whole bunch of pictures of brass knuckles. Knuckle Duster.
That's
a man's man.
That's a man's man right there. And he's one of the main trio?
He's one of the main trio.
That's awesome.
It's a fucking man's man.
That's great. Is he just strong?
You want to know what his quirk is?
Lay it on me.
Doesn't have one.
He just got...
I won't spoil anything else. There is more to that story than that. He does not have a quirk.
That just makes it that much better.
And he beats the living shit out of people. And
because
also,
you got to think, a lot of the people that have quirks don't have a quirk of super durability.
No. And
you can still catch these hands.
He's a smart dude. He'll jump off a building to punch you. I think he pulls out a rifle and shoots a guy. Like,
he
does not give a fuck.
That ain't your quirk.
Is a vigilante. He is the one that teaches Koichi to be more of a vigilante rather than pick up people's trash on the ground.
Right.
And the one last thing I want to say about vigilantes is the tie-ins to the main series are also top-notch incredible. You've already seen a bit of one where they talk about Shirakuma and Aizawa. Mm-hmm. The Aizawa arc in general, there's a whole arc of Aizawa before he was like a teacher.
Beautiful.
Like his whole student time, incredible.
I always love backstories to characters you love in the main series.
You see Stain years before he would turn into a villain.
I'm hoping Stain comes back in the main story because they showed him briefly.
That'd be really nice.
I kind of want you back, especially with what's going on right now. He'd be nice.
You see what is, in my opinion, kind of like the first steps towards making a Nomu. Almost like maybe like the first test ground of All for One, like kind of getting that idea like I could do something with this.
Mm-hmm. He's not a main focus. He's just kind of there.
He's not a main focus. In fact, he's like the slightest sprinkling of him like towards the second half of the manga, and you don't even really see him. It's more like the effects of him.
Yeah.
Someone he's manipulated and kind of ruined. The villain of the whole Vigilantes in turn, I think personally, is like a predecessor to Nomu's.
Interesting.
Just a lot of really great tie-ins.
Yeah, so check out Vigilantes if you're a My Hero Academia fan.
The only comment I could say as far as negatives is it doesn't quite reach Horikoshi's art, but it's still really good art.
Yeah, because it's drawn by somebody else, correct?
Yeah.
But he writes the story, or is
I don't
the
think
story?
so.
But so it's just
I don't
some
know that
separate
for
dude.
sure, though. But I think it's all the side guy.
Just check this out so we get some factual information here for you guys.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, author Hideki Furuhashi and Betancourt.
Nice. So not the same guy.
Not
but
the same guy.
I'm sure he has creative influence on them, and
Yeah.
I'm sure he gives them ideas, or maybe
I mean, he's
they
going to
go
have to for some of the tie-ins, like
so
Stain.
they might go to him for approval on quirk ideas to make sure they don't steal a quirk he had planned for
Or
later.
making
Or
sure
something.
things work, like pulling in an American hero, make sure that doesn't step on Horikoshi's toes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there's a lot of collaboration there. Right, my number 6, Attack on Titan.
Ooh.
Rumbling.
Ooh.
Rumbling. So,
If I lose
is
it
it
all.
all? So,
Anime.
Anime.
You need to specify.
I am caught up to said anime. I have not seen final season part 6, core 3,
365 over 2.
365 over 2.5. Followed by 0.7 afterwards.
Birth by Dreaming.
Birth by Dreaming, yes. It's as everyone is saying, you cannot deny the modern masterpiece that we're watching unfold right now. I know that I have one singular spoiler. Well, technically 2, but one is out of context, so I'm like, whatever. Of what's going to happen in the next 2 seasons. If you can call them full seasons. Cause
That was like 2 seasons.
I'm sure
But
they're
then,
like
yeah.
6 episodes, 3 parts each, 3 episodes each. People were saying, I remember hearing when it ended, the fan base was divided over the ending. I've already have my theories about the ending, and I'd be pretty hard pressed to admit that I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I know where this is going. Like, everyone kind of knows where it's going. I know you're kind of caught up. I don't think it's really that big of a spoiler.
You can,
because it's my
you can
theory. I think he's trying to pull a Lelouch
become the world's enemy and unite everyone.
against him, and then he dies. All the hatred goes away. I think he's doing it.
There's a little foreshadowing of our own there.
It's just like Lelouch threatened mass genocide. Eren is enacting mass genocide. So there's that element. But no, it's just, if you were to tell me what's going on in Attack on Titan right now when I was watching season 1, I'd be like, there's no way this story is going there. And it's just like, but the way it goes there, it's like the reveal of what's off the island and what's happening was so good. And I don't know. I just love it. The characters are great. Wit did it better.
Wit did it better. I wish I could animate myself, not to animate Attack on Titan, but now I kind of want to make my own version of the post scene to Code Geass where Colin's just like, yeah, we're doing better now these days, Lelouch.
Oh, yes.
With the piece of toast. I kind of want to do that with Mikasa, going through like her house getting her like a carrot, like, we're doing better these days, Eren. The world's way more at peace.
That's one of my spoilers. You ever see that Yugi meme? It should have been me. Eren posts one of those.
To who?
In relation to what he could happen to Mikasa in the future if he dies. And he's like, it should have been me. And I'm like, Eren, my boy,
Calm down.
calm down. Again, it's kind of an out of context. I don't know how it does it. I know who he says it to, but I don't know how they're talking to each other. I don't know any of the details. I'm just like, okay.
All right.
We'll see how this goes. But that's my number 6. I mean, it's Attack on Titan. Everyone knows it broke Crunchyroll when it happened. You know what I mean? When the Mappa studio came out, I remember that day it came out, Crunchyroll crashed with an influx of people that were coming in trying to watch it. On
I'm
episode
sure
one.
not going to be the anti-hype guy. I mean, it's such a unique concept in this day and age too that he just whipped up this fantasy world that's so enthralling and dark.
And so much different than anything else, too.
Even
so
yeah,
original.
series structure. It has its own kind of like beat to it, its own kind of pacing to it because it's so unique.
That beginning stages of how horror was implemented in that you were afraid of Titans, you know what I mean? Now he twists it, so now you're more afraid of the people. Like what we talked about when we were talking
Walking
about the primordial fears in Chainsaw Man. You start fearing the Titans, but as Attack on Titan goes, you start fearing the people more and what they're capable of.
To what I was going to say. Shout out to the guy that animated Kenny versus Levi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. And just really anything Levi does.
That might be
whoever animates that.
I still think that's probably the most jaw-dropping visual spectacle of the decade in anime.
Yeah, or just honestly, even leading up, or right after that too, when Levi fights or is like running away from the other dude shooting him, and he gets clipped in the forehead,
thing.
And he goes under that car.
That whole thing,
that whole episode,
from when he's on the roof and first gets shot at, all the way till the end of that fucking episode.
Yeah, it's just fantastic animation. It's just so good, which is why it's right there at number 6.
It's not even on my list, and I'd still, again, call that the absolute greatest visual spectacle anime gave us this decade.
Yeah, absolutely.
By far.
And we can't do much more than that, then, except for just mentioning how glorious it is, and, you know, it's hyped for a reason.
Appreciating it.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Number 5.
Top 5's bringing in the heavy hitters.
Now, I did remember texting you saying that these ones surprised me, actually, how high they got.
Specifically number 5? Or
specifically number 4, but 5 kind of ties into this, too.
Okay.
Now, 5 is where Dandadan was for me until I took it off.
Yes.
So this one was under Dandadan. It's what made me have to start reconsidering if I should take Dandadan off. Because my number 5 is Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, instant classic. But again, I had Dandadan over it, and I knew that might get some weebs red-blooded. Not that that's the reason I took it off. I took it off because Yu Yu Hakusho kind of, in my opinion, shit the bed that last arc. Not just the ending. I kind of just don't like the entire last arc.
Yeah, I didn't really like Demon Yusuke.
It's not fair to take that against Yu Yu Hakusho when Dandadan hasn't had the time to have a fuck-up like that. Like, Yu Yu Hakusho took all of that time to finally start shit in the bed.
Yeah.
The chapter Black Art, slapped. Dark Tournament, slapped. Everything before Dark Tournament, slapped.
Quick note, too, in here. She says that it is right now. Yu Yu Hakusho is my wife's favorite anime.
Ooh.
I don't know if that would change if she actually gave it some serious thought or not, or if she was to rewatch it, because I'm pretty sure she hasn't watched it since... Like, she probably hasn't watched it in like 10, 15 years, but...
It's a fun thing. I actually...
You never know.
Rewatched it within, I want to say 5 years-ish. Or at least I started rewatching it. I probably did stop at some point.
It's been a long time since I've watched anything Yu Yu Hakusho, to be honest with you. I mean, it's great. I love it. It's great. It's definitely up there with the classics.
It was going to be much lower. And then I started really thinking, like, this is when I started going to, like, each one and being like, okay, why do I appreciate you? Why do I like you? Why do I like you more than this? Why do I like you more than Dandadan? Which, when I open it, I'm excited every time to open it, and I'm happy every time I leave it.
Yeah.
Which I can't say for every Yu Yu Hakusho episode. There's definitely some episodes in there where it's just like, okay, that happened.
Yeah, but...
Here and there.
I mean, I get it. And I'm sure there's the whole thing, too, with... You know, older animes had much more... It was a different era.
Time filling.
Yeah, and... I don't know. It's hard. I'm trying to get this thought out, but it's like... how do I say it? They, I feel like they could take certain liberties back in the day, because you weren't focused on... I don't want to say it had bad writing, but you weren't trying to focus on this masterful writing, you know what I mean? You're just trying to make things look cool and big, awesome fights, because look at what it was like, quote-unquote, competing with, you know? It was right before the big three started.
So, like, Rurouni Kenshin,
Inuyasha, DBZ.
I mean, look at the things that came before it too. The things it's building off of, like, I guess I would say Dragon Ball Z at that point because it's like one of the few things.
Yeah, Sailor
Popular
Moon was
before
around
it.
that time too.
It definitely honed in more on the cast, having a personal connection.
It's one of the OGs. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's plenty of what we're watching now that the authors took huge inspiration from what they got from watching Yu Yu Hakusho or reading Yu Yu Hakusho.
The big difference maker that kept it out of like the bottom 4 rather than where it is at number 5 was the fact it could make me feel. I think that was the way I put it to myself. Is like, even rewatching it, I teared up when Yusuke is watching his own funeral, watching his mom cry over his body, watching Kuwabara come in and be like, no, you can't fucking die. I need you here still.
Yeah,
I needed you. That got me. I'm fucking feeling it now.
it's brutal.
And like, I almost
that
forgot how
episode.
much that like pulls at my
It's-
heartstrings. Genkai dying pulls at those
brutal.
heartstrings.
That's
Like,
so brutal.
it was. I'd never thought of it as that anime that could touch me like that.
And Dark Tournament, to this day, one of the best tournament arcs in anime.
And again, that side cast, you really used
There
your
are
side
no
cast.
misses in that fight, in that tournament.
No.
Just
No.
every fight you are, because like
They treated
tournaments
it like every
today,
fight
you
was
know,
special.
you come to a fight and you're like, oh, damn, I don't want to see these two fight. I want to see those.
I
I
want
want
to
to
see
wait
Tape
next.
Guy fight Todoroki.
Yeah, I want to see fucking the next fight. I don't want to see this one. There was none of that with the Dark Tournament. It's like, oh, these two are fighting. Oh, this is gonna be lit.
Which is even more incredible because there's literally 7 characters we know in the tournament.
Yeah,
Yusuke Squad, Toguro Brothers. Because the rest of Toguro Squad
that
wasn't
fight
introduced
that
earlier.
Yusuke had with the dude, I don't even remember if they were like their heels were on the
On
knives.
the knives, yup. Knife edge
Ku-
death fight.
Kuwabara's speech, or was that in the bridge series? I remember Kuwabara had some epic speech of manliness, but it's hard to say because
The butchers.
the bridge series Kuwabara is, I swear, the same dude. Same Team 4-star Kuwabara. It's the same fucking
The
dude.
entire bridge series for Yu Yu Hakusho nailed the voices.
We're gonna have to think about that. I'll look it up afterwards, see which one that is. If it's a real life that's the man speech he gave that. This is the
The
manliest
manliest-
shit I've ever seen in my
It's
life.
right in his character, too.
It is, or if it was in a bridge, but it would not surprise me either way. But
I actually have the danger music from Yu Yu Hakusho, which is probably playing in that moment, in my head right now. Wow.
yeah,
But yeah,
great, good characters. Hiei, perfect.
iconic. Hiei, Kurama,
Kurama.
Kuwabara, Yusuke. I almost feel like,
All of them.
even more than Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho set up having that nice, solid core cast.
Well, yeah, because GBZ is more of just cool fights. It doesn't really go into any character. Every character, the only person that had, I'd say, 2 people that ever have any kind of character, quote unquote, development through all of
Vegeta.
DBZ is Vegeta and Piccolo. But Vegeta more so than Piccolo.
Gohan,
Oh, my jaw just cracked.
they move in places.
Yeah, Gohan kind of, but his character development went the wrong way.
That's another one. I was thinking back to the other parts of the earlier arcs, like Kurama's arc. That got me feeling something, where he's like trying to help his sick human mom with the forlorn hope.
Yeah, great characters. You know, in a time that character wasn't really the main focus, or individual characters so much. Maybe they'd focus on 1 or 2, but like
It's almost like the Marvel versus DC argument again, where DBZ has like that DC, we're larger than life, and Yu Yu Hakusho comes in as like the Marvel, like here's our flawed characters.
yeah, it's more grounded. Yeah. So, my number 5, Kaguya-sama. Love
Oh
is War.
wow! I didn't see that one coming.
No. So it is just hands down, bar none, the greatest romantic comedy to ever exist.
Damn.
There's just not one that even comes close. It just, and for someone that's seen like way more action shows than anything action that would ever happen in Kaguya, to put this in the number 5 slot, it's just hilarious, man. Every episode's a riot. I am anime only. It's just for the narrator Kun. Narrator Kun is just amazing. But no, serious. In all seriousness, the manga is significantly longer than I thought it was, but it has, I'm pretty sure, recently ended.
I do believe so.
And I plan to try and hold out because Ultra Romantic just came out. That was their newest season. Each season has like its season
subtitle?
1 is Love and War.
Okay.
I forget what season 2 is. Season 3 was Ultra Romantic, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But that one on Mal is the first anime to top Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood in rating. I don't know if it still is. It could have been recency bias at the time, but it was the first anime on Mal to break that. I mean, that's not trying any indication of what's a good or bad anime.
It's indication of something popping off, though.
Yes, and it's just...
Now, you know what? Fuck it. It is an indication of good. It's not an objective qualifier like, this is better than this, but it shows that it's good. People wouldn't be upvoting it if it wasn't good.
Yeah, a lot of people downvote stuff, and that's where things get... But something to get that many ratings...
Even things that get upbrigaded, that means there's a cult following. Interspecies reviewers.
Yes. Perfect. This is the perfect anime.
So
that's my number
sign.
one. Just kidding. No, it's just... And so many good characters in it, too. And... It's just the comedy. Yes. Chika-sa is... Shirogane is just the best male lead, and Kaguya is the best female lead, and the supporting characters. Every character is great, and it's just a
Speak
great
on it
time.
much, but I gotta say, Kaguya's design is just like S tier. She's
The-
iconic looking.
Yeah, the whole premise of season 1 is just so funny about how both of them are just so stubborn that they want the other person to confess to them, and the situations they get into because
I
of
didn't
that.
bring my umbrella. Oh, but you have your umbrella, right? Oh no, I didn't bring my umbrella.
It's hilarious.
I've wanted to start it, honestly.
I know, because I've been trying to get you to start it, and I know you said you'd probably read it in the manga.
I would.
I don't know, because I don't know how comedy would land when reading it personally, because I haven't read any comedy mangas or comedy. I really just, I'm more of a visual guy when it comes to comedy, so like
To be honest, I don't know how I'll feel either. Comedy and manga.
reading something in a comedy format, I don't know how it would take for me, so I can't recommend whether it would be good or not for other people. So I just say stick with the consume the anime. I mean, it's amazing. All 3 seasons are fantastic. It's just good stuff. It's great. That's all I got. It's just amazing.
Once I have time.
Yes. Add it to the list.
Add it to the list.
Number 4.
Coming up on number 4, another one that kind of surprised me how far high up I put it, but will surprise no one else. Full Metal Alchemist.
Huh?
Right when you mentioned it too, I busted a little smirk because I'm like,
Yes.
you're next.
Yeah, there you go. Which one?
Anime.
No, which anime?
I'm gonna have to say Brotherhood, but I have a lot to say about not a lot to say, but
Yeah.
I have to mention the original.
Right.
I think it has the superior art style. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right outright. I liked the darker, almost
gritty.
more 90s grit art style to it. I even liked the tone. How it was a little more depressing, a little more
Original
about the
Greed
trauma.
fight better than remake Greed.
Oh my
Greed
god,
fight.
yes. It was like a 3-minute fight that somehow was like my favorite fight for years.
However, Brotherhood Greed far better character than original Greed.
And even like the way Brotherhood speeds through those first few, granted, small arcs, but just kind of speeds through it. I like them both.
But I think that Brotherhood could do that in anime because the other anime had that, so it's like we don't need to expand on what the other already did. It's already out there. Everyone already seen that. You're watching this for the manga
What about
part. So
new fans?
I
New
guess,
fans are
but
going to go
again,
back
like you
to
said,
the early 2000s version.
and getting a more expanded version. But those early arcs aren't like I don't.
They aren't
think-
important.
They're not
They aren't.
important.
The
so.
fake Elric brothers, which got completely cut from Brotherhood, aren't that important.
Yeah.
I just miss that art style, really. It's what it mostly comes down to. It looks a little bit brighter and cartoonier in Brotherhood. But I wouldn't want to throw away all of the manga content Brotherhood decided to actually follow.
I will say it's not on my list, but now that I think about it, probably should have been put in a honorable mentions just because of what it is. You know, it's the highest rated anime. Everybody fucking loves it.
There's like a wave of people that want to downplay it now, and I just gotta say, I was just talking about iconic cast with Yu Yu Hakusho. What has a more iconic cast than Full Metal Alchemist?
Roy Mustang, fucking
Mace Hughes. Another moment I cried.
I'm surprised
Listening to the daughter being like, "Why are they putting Daddy down there? Daddy's got to work. Daddy's got to be up to work." I was fucking bawling.
It's a terrible day for rain.
Nina.
Everyone says that shit. It's like, fuck Nina. All right, fuck
It's not
that
the
dog.
first time. They've desensitized me
Not
to
only
it
that,
entirely.
but no, Maze Hughes' death was so much more traumatic than some little girl getting fused with a dog that no one really gave a shit about. All right?
So I even thought Mace Hughes' death was sadder in the original. Maybe it was the darker tone in general, and that
I
darker
just think
coloring going
both
into
times it's just, but
Oh,
the
it's so sad.
satisfaction that we get when, dog,
it. That's what really brings Brotherhood back around.
the snaps.
Catharsis is better. We get to see Mustang killing Lust. We get to see Mustang face to face with Envy, knowing Envy killed Hughes instead of the.
You put respect on that man's name. The enemies in that fucking verse fear Roy Mustang. And it's like,
Envy was fucking pleading for its life. Envy looked like he wanted to fucking
he was
kill
real
himself.
cocky. He was real cocky at the beginning, but
How does it feel with your tongue boiling in your mouth? Fucking slaps.
yeah. So wow. So
And that's
good.
why I got to give it. It almost feels innovative to me, with Ed being such a unique main character, and he is. I won't hear any ifs,
you
ands, or
calling
buts
short?
about it. Yeah. The iconic cast. It's just so much that I don't
Alphonse.
think other anime even try to do.
Yeah. There's just
Political plots,
so many characters. So many characters that everyone knows.
great
Armstrong.
twists, and one of the best power systems in all of anime.
Alchemy. Yeah, it's great. It's Full Metal Alchemist,
Versatile.
You know what I mean?
It's almost like a light power system. You don't have to go on hours explaining how it works. You explain it once, and then every point from then on, you're like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Oh yeah, that kind of works. That kind of, I get that.
Yeah.
He punched ground, moisture become ice. Yep, that's equivalent.
Yeah. And the same thing. What is equivalent to a human soul?
Yeah, it's the dark themes. The talk about war, genocide of a people. Like,
I love Scar so much more so in a Brotherhood 2 that his character was fleshed out. I mean, he was just a cool guy in Full Metal Alchemist, but Brotherhood
he's a cool
really-
guy. I did like that plot line where towards the end, when they're trying to make another Philosopher's Stone, and he's fucking dying, and he lays down to complete the fucking circle that turns the city into a Philosopher's
You
Stone.
know what I just thought of? What is your name? My name is Juggy. You see that to me? How convenient. My name is also Juggy. When fucking, I think it's
Armstrong and
no, it's when it's a skit from when the Fuhrer and Scar fight in the original, and it's they
the way you
said
were
that-
flexing, I think it was Armstrong meeting
Oh.
teacher's husband.
Yes, that's amazing too. But no, it's this super long. My true name is, and it's like, dude, it's like 100 characters long, and the other guy's like, "How convenient! My name is also," and then they go to fight. Have at the I bit my tongue. It's great. It's amazing. It's
That's
so
for any
fun.
downsides. I think Father's a shit villain. I think the rest of the homunculi pick up his weight though.
Yeah, I mean, Father was just kind of Father. I
just
mean, I
is.
just liked more of Hohenheim.
Yeah,
Because I always wanted to see more Hohenheim in the
and
original.
Brotherhood actually gave it to us.
Brother gave it. I wanted to see him actually fight someone because you're like, this dude's immortal. He's been around forever. This guy's got to know some serious alchemy slappage. And he pulls two things out. He captures Pride
Yeah,
in the big dome with Al.
With Al, yeah.
And
That's
then-
when Al whips out the rock dragon.
Yes, and he goes and does some small stuff against Father, but then kind of just gets pwned.
That's the other thing with Brotherhood. I have a small nitpick for it, and I get when I nitpick Brotherhood, I'm nitpicking the original manga. I thought it was kind of lame to give Al the same alchemy as Ed. I think it robbed them of their uniqueness a little bit.
Yeah, because Full Metal it didn't have that in the original, but it does in Brotherhood.
Yep, because Al remembers seeing the gate, and that's kind of how
Yeah.
that goes.
You
But
know,
whatever.
now that I think about it, I mean, I could probably intertwine Full Metal and Rurouni Kenshin in my number 10. I could probably do that. I'd say that for me, they're probably around that. It's not that.
It's hard to go back and give it props now that it is the most popular.
Yeah, because it's like you.
I'm showering gold on the guy who has all the trophies.
Yeah, it's like
You won already.
you got to be the contrarian and kind of be different.
But I couldn't deny it its spot. It was one of the first, just like Yu Yu Hakusho is one of the earliest animes I saw.
Yeah. Well, talking about giving someone their spot, for me, number 4, Bleach. I don't think you were too surprised. For the longest time,
No, Faith, I expected maybe 1 or 2 spots higher, but
Bleach was my favorite anime for a while back. I don't want to say that it was my favorite anime when I had viewed fewer anime, but that's just how it was.
yeah. Full
But
Metal was probably my favorite back then.
Bleach was something special for me when I was watching that weekly. There was no other anime that's ever been the day it came out after school. I don't give a fuck who you were. We ain't hanging out on this day. I'm going directly
Sorry,
home.
Bleach time. Unless you're ready
and
to
I'm
watch some
watching
Bleach.
I'm going home and watching the newest episode of Bleach, and that's what it was every day that aired. I want to say it was Tuesdays, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time since. And then the same thing happened when Thousand Year Blood War arc came back. That was the biggest hype shit for me, because I was so sad when the anime just abruptly ended, and then
Just decided to peace out.
just pieced out, and then it's just like to be back, and the beauty that it has when it came back is.
Well, I keep seeing clips. I'm gonna preface this a little bit. I think Unohana's overhyped. She was just that healer bitch until she finally decides to be a fighter and then dies.
Yeah,
So I think
there's a
they're
reason,
overhyping her a little bit. But then I see a clip
Yeah.
of her doing it, and I'm like, I can see why you're getting overhyped.
She killed Kenpachi like 100 times, and he didn't know. She kept killing him and bringing him back to life to kill him again, to get him to remove his self-imposed limiter. That's basically her purpose in that entire situation. Until he finally was able to kill her. That's the whole point of that whole fight.
And I just think they overhype her just a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you probably could have done without killing her if she was such a strong combatant. Maybe you could have used both of them. But it works out in the end, I guess.
It made for a cool moment.
Not so much when you look at the lineup at the end of the Thousand Year Blood War arc, because you're like, wow, that.
Time to recruit some new captains.
Well, yeah, but you look at the captain list, and you're like, wow, this is definitely the weakest. It's like, because you got the weak captains are so weak, but then the strong captains are so strong, so it's like. So it's not.
Byakuya, Hitsugaya, everyone else.
Yeah, Kenpachi would be up there,
Yeah.
Karaku, but then it's like. There's a lot of old vice captains that kind of just filled the rank, and it's just like
Kira.
Nah, I think he did.
Is he?
I think
Aw.
he should have died. He got his fucking chest blown out, but then comes back later in the arc. But then I think he might have died. It's been a while since I saw the later parts of Thousand Blood Warrior, but it's just early Bleach, man, hits different. Especially the anime. I love that tint, that like gray tint that they put on it. For
Almost
the
like a camera filmy
Yeah,
kind of like
exactly.
snowy effect.
And I mean, who does Bleach? Who does anime openings better than Bleach?
I gotta say that it's a definite change because then you go into the Soul Society, it's just like blasted with white.
Yeah,
it's like,
because
God,
it's so
my
bright.
eyes.
It's like the sun is so much brighter here. But yeah, who does anime openings better than Bleach?
Oh yeah. And I was wrong on our other episode where I said Ichirin no Hana was the one where Hitsugaya was jumping on the rocks. It's actually Detecno Life. I was listening to Detecno Life the other day, and I'm like, fucking jamming to myself in the middle of the store.
Because I can visualize Ichino Hana. The start of it is.
It shows all the faces.
Well, it starts off with, or somewhere in it, Ichigo sitting in a field, leaning against.
And Rukia's leaning
on the other side. Yep.
It was Detecno Life.
It's just, it's so classic, man. And I go back to when I was watching the Big Three, Well, really just Naruto and Bleach. I got into One Piece late, but it was such a good time, man, for me, and I just could not do myself justice if Bleach wasn't represented here. It's just so good. So good. And
Some of
yes,
the best character designs in the business too.
oh my god, nobody's better with drip than Kubo.
No one. And oh my god, those fashion spreads that he does.
Yeah, so good. It's just he lives to draw his characters in different
drip.
clothes. Yeah, unlike what we're used to in anime, where everyone wears the same outfit for the entire
Centuries.
series. Exactly. But it's just so good. I just love it. I don't know, and I know I'm not wholly blind to its flaws. I know it's got writing
Then you have
flaws.
your own
I know.
nitpicks that some other people might not have too.
Yeah, and
We're all
they're
different.
there, but I can still enjoy it and still be like, that's my man.
That's my man.
Kurosaki Ichigo.
Zanpakutos still slap. I know I bitched about their power system with the Ryatsu side of it, but Zanpakutos hold up 1,000%. It's like having a stand connected to your sword.
Yeah, so it's just I
It's
love
a
it.
stand on a stick.
Yes. And it's just like the Bankai is just that
Bunkai.
it just rolls off the tongue. Everyone wants to do it. Who
One of
wouldn't
the few
want to
animes where they didn't translate all of the moves and the terms. They chose to keep them in the original Japanese, even
Yes,
in the
because
dub.
it sounds
They
so
make
much
the
better.
dub actors say Bankai. They make them say Kyoka Suigetsu.
Yes, or Hado now.
Hado no Kyojin, Kuroshitsuji.
Or fucking Hado no Hachi nu Hachi. I'm gonna butcher. I'm not even
Is
gonna
it
say it. It's the lightning
99?
dragon. It's
Yeah.
the 88. No, 88. The lightning dragon. It's
Like,
Rio. Yeah, Shinten Raiho is how it ends. It's the first part that gets me. It's Rio something Shinten Raiho, and it's just I think it's a twin-headed blue lightning dragon that just shoots out of your palm. It's great, but then anytime it's used, it's just easily deflected, which makes me sad because it's
Anime
only two.
fire.
Yeah, it's 2 levels down from
Kuroshitsuji.
Black Coffin, and it's just also so good. But yeah, just classic Bleach.
Absolutely.
It's good, and its comedy in the earlier sections is good. It's just Bleach is got a special place in my heart, and
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
that's basically all I can say.
Speaking of special place in my heart.
Number 3.
Number 3, the
What do
one
you got?
that I kind of can credit with getting me into manga.
Oh,
It's Chainsaw Man.
really? Wow.
It is absolutely Chainsaw Man at number 3.
This whole time we were talking about how recent stuff, but honestly, actually, now that I think about it, maybe not that big of a surprise because
I think it's enough. I think because part 1 was such a complete story is why I can feel comfortable enough being like, yeah, my enjoyment of this isn't going to change that much 10 years down the road. I will still look back on this and think of it like, yeah. That's my boy for real.
I mean, I tried to stay like, if I was gonna like some of the newer stuff, put anything on, I was trying to stay away from it because it's like still ongoing.
Yeah.
Like JJK, for instance, we don't know how. I mean, the ending of a series can really be detrimental to the overarching quality of a series.
Yeah. Like I said, Yu Yu Hakusho, I had to think twice because I don't like that last arc. I don't like
Yeah.
how you ended. And granted, at first,
I don't think
I didn't like how
Chainsaw
part 1
Man's.
ended.
I just don't think Chainsaw Man's gonna have that thing or JJK. JJK seems like it might be more susceptible to it, but
Yeah, I can
still,
see a really shit ending
I still have
being
hope.
possible. Like, we don't know, Gege could turn around and be like, Sukuna, good guy for real, and I would absolutely,
despise that.
yeah.
I would hate.
I still liked
fuck
its
out of it.
best moments, but it would change my overall opinion.
Yeah, no
But yeah,
thanks.
Chainsaw Man.
Yes,
Another anime, but, not anime, the manga. Let
specify
me just
here.
say, I'm not judging this off a one-season anime, no,
Which was still good.
which is still good, but the manga. Just like Full Alchemist, I think it does things that other anime don't necessarily try to do. That's not immediately going to put you over the hurdle across 30 other series that do what they do great. But it's something that goes appreciated when you do have that quality.
Yes.
It's hard to put all the reasons together.
Yeah.
Playable characters, doing something different. I love how Fujimoto draws people in general. I think he has a very distinctly almost human arc style to him.
And the thing that I like about it, to my own detriment, he's not afraid to kill characters off.
No, he's not.
Which is
almost to a Game of Thrones degree.
Yes. Because there are a lot of other series that would...
Black Clover.
Bleach is another one. Byakuya totally should have died at the beginning of the 1,000-Year Blood. Naruto's no... unless he gets drunk and kills Neji off. But yes, there's plenty of other series that should have. Death is not a problem.
On the sock, oh fuck Neji.
That's what I just remember him saying it in an interview that it was an offhand thing he did when he was drunk and kind of locked himself into it.
You didn't lock yourself into anything. You sacrificed one man's chakra for a whole village. But okay, yeah. But yeah, Fujimoto kills his characters. When Power died. When Aki died,
When Aki died.
That was rough. And again, Power, though. Because the way Power was taken out was just so cold.
And so quick right there.
I didn't see it coming at all. I knew something bad was going to happen.
And right in front of, both of them right in front of Denji.
The background art, too, is something I always point out with Fujimoto. Those backgrounds are fucking stacked constantly with skyscrapers full of complete windows.
Which is an exact opposite of, again, my last thing I said, Bleach. Because Bleach, but Kubo said, because he wants the character to be the forefront. So that's why he purposefully leaves certain things blank behind them.
To
sometimes
punch that up.
To bring the character into your forefront.
Which absolutely works for him.
Yes, but yeah.
But those Fujimoto backdrops.
Chainsaw Man is great. I mean, we talk about it all the time on here. Obviously,
the power system, the devil's fear system, them dying, going to hell, dying, being reborn back on Earth.
I'm sure by the time this ends, it might get on my list as well. Because, like I said, a lot of the newer stuff that's still ongoing, I've made a point to not consider. I didn't even write Chainsaw Man down when I was writing stuff down.
I didn't write Jujutsu Kaisen, to be fair.
I didn't write JJK. I didn't write Hell's Paradise.
I didn't either, even though that is finished.
Complete, and I was like, I don't know, it's a little too recent for me to try and... I still need it to kind of set in with me and really think about it.
Yeah, I'm almost really looking forward to rewatching it through watching the anime.
Yeah. So we'll see how things go in the future. Maybe, certain
lists will change. Maybe it could hit up in there.
Yeah.
I just felt strongly enough about it where I'm like, I can do that. I think 10 years from now, no matter how part 2 goes, which I'm also open to the fact that things will get rearranged over time in my life. But I personally right now think it wouldn't move even 10 years from now. It would stay over Fullmetal Alchemist, and nothing is breaching my top 2.
The gap between the top 2 is just up there.
It is incredible.
All right, so we'll talk about that in a minute. After my number 3, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Ooh, that one I could have called coming.
Kamina is the most charismatic main character ever, and it ripped my heart out when he died so early.
When he was the main character.
Yes. Because there ain't no Simone main character when Kamina's around. It's just not happening. And Simone would not have become what he was. No! You didn't read the newest chapter of Dandadan.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
It's not a spoiler, but I have to bring it up.
You can do it.
Kind of do it. There's a new power system they're introducing in Dandadan, and it's spirals. And I'm like, spiral power. I know that doesn't make much sense to you because you don't have the context. No, it's not willpower. It's not related to the spiral power of that. But it's literally spirals is in a circular rotation of energy. You understand when you read the newest chapter of Dandadan. But I was like, yes. And they mentioned spirals numerous times. It's just...
I don't remember if they were Gynax or Trigger back then, but I mean, it's basically the same shit. Trigger never doesn't miss, in my opinion. People can talk about Trigger missing all they want. I don't think Trigger misses.
Yoko and so many good characters. And
the animation, again,
so many
just like Space Family. It's so artfully done, how they fuck with perspective whenever they want. They don't be like, oh, this has to stay on model at all times. No, Kamina whips out a sword that was like 10 feet, well, like, it was like 5 feet last scene. Now it's like 20 fucking feet when he's whipping it out. Hey. His arm looks like it's like 30 feet when he's pointing it. They don't care.
The over-the-top sunglasses.
It's about artistry.
It's so much fun. It is. Anytime, it's just like the final battle. Listen, Tengen Toppa smashes all of your greatest, whoever you think is the strongest. It's Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Throw in the galaxies
They
like
threw
frisbees.
galaxies at each other in the final fight. You ain't beating that.
Oh, when it
Saitama's
breaks down
not
the robot smaller and
Saitama's not going to
smaller.
punch that. It's just not happening.
Oh no, I'd still sit here and try to argue with you that Saitama would win. Oh no, and I don't even read it.
I do, and I've seen him go out, and yes, it's very impressive, but it's not throwing a galaxy at someone else impressive.
That galaxy, which is like the size of my shin, right now.
Yeah, compared to how big they are. Yeah, it's over the top, amazing, and it's just great characters.
And on top of that, you'd never expect it to have so much narrative oomph to it on the surface. Like when you look at it on the surface, you're like, oh, this is going to be just like a fun anime for anime's sake. But not only with Kamina's death, like throughout, there's a lot to chew on.
Yeah, and it's just so many great characters, and there's one specific character that
Lord Genome?
No, I actually love Lord Genome, and the way he goes out.
Oh, you're looking for
Rashu can suck my fucking dick. I don't. He's just an annoying character when he's young, but when
he
he
makes sense
gets
for his character, though.
when he gets older, he basically turns into like the dictator, and they're like, Simon's the hero of the world. None of you would be here, and you're trying to restrict his movements for some bullshit. Fucking Liron is amazing. Nia's amazing.
I didn't know Liron's voiced by Steve Blum. How does that make any sense? Steve, I know you're not listening to this. If someone has some sort of backseat connection with Steve Blum, where was this voice? You always bring out the same voice. Where's the Liron voice? You know Steve Blum. He's Tom from Toonami.
Oh yeah. Cowboy
He's Spike
Bebop.
Spiegel.
Yeah. Played Wolverine.
Where's
He's
the-
in Lilo and Stitch.
I actually didn't know that. He does a lot of work, though. He's fucking
I'm
everywhere.
sure he's everywhere, but
He's Mugen, but where's the Liron voice? You use the same voice everywhere else. Liron is not your normal voice. I won't believe that for a second.
just Kitan, Lord Genome is
Damn, Steve
amazing.
Blum. Play more gay characters.
Anti-Sparrow, Yoko.
Anti-Sparrow was great. Lord Genome was the best, though.
It's Gurren Lagann. What can you say? It's just
It's a classic.
Kamina.
Absolute classic.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm the man. Manliest man around here to man. I love
I'm the
Kamina.
drill that'll pierce the heavens.
Honestly, if I had a top characters list of all time, Kamina would probably be in the top 3 too. If not,
I think our number one would be the same on that list, too. But I digress.
Kamina, man, he's just. I just gotta stop. It's just so good, and you listen to me talking about this. Now you.
I just got a
think,
wicked spoiler. Oh man!
You saw my list.
I saw your list. Our number ones are not the same.
They're not.
They're not.
I thought about that for long and hard too. By the way. All right, number 2.
Number 2.
Bring it. Lay it on me.
Bakuno.
You know, I was wondering if Bakuno or Durarara would be on your top 10.
I almost put Durara also, but I didn't. I do think I like everything on this list a bit more than Durara.
You want to talk about anything else? We're talking about a cast of characters. Fucking Bakuno, man.
Iconic.
Those characters are just
And they're
so.
fleshed out.
It's just, yeah. I mean, come on, man. You just can't. Jacuzzi sucks, but whatever.
I love Luck. I love Claire. I love Firo. Shauna's great. Lad's obviously.
Lad fucking Russo. Isaac and Miria are the best people.
Even Misa. Misa barely does anything. I love him. Chesla.
Chesla, that poor soul. That poor
Is he?
soul.
He's pretty much he's a pretty awful little kid too.
Yeah, but I mean, because that poor guy is just like.
He didn't deserve what he got.
But how
Oh, I remember the Claire sitting down with them.
Yeah.
Being like, Chesla. Well, everything you've been through sure does sound painful. I bet you haven't had your skin peeled back and your muscles stripped and had your bone carved into.
Man.
I know all of the ways to torture someone.
Speaking of which, I love how all of these pictures are all like semi-animated, and then you just have Claire Vino. Just look at him; he's just so much. Just to stand
So
out so much
sexy.
better. They're just
Claire's absolutely my favorite character. I mean, Firo's great too, but there's something about that charisma with Claire. That speech on top of the train car fighting Luck, where he's like, I can't even imagine a world after I die. The world would just cease to exist. There is no world beyond where my perception. It's like, whoa.
because I most of what I think about Baccano is on that train, and I need to get off the train because there's so much good stuff that happens off it too, like how
Firo's whole storyline was
stealing the elixir of immortality and
she's
shit.
actually not here right now because it's not Shauna I'm thinking of. I forgot her name, but Ennis, I think it is.
Her?
Yes, maybe. No, she's the one that snuck onto the train.
Yeah,
There's the girl that wouldn't really talk to him at first.
it's her.
No,
The
because she's
mute?
on the train.
Yeah, but she's the mute, right? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't think it was. No, it was the old guy's subordinate, not Huey's subordinate. Go back.
Go backwards.
It's Slizzard. Slizzard Quates. Right next to Miria.
This? No.
Up.
Mirror.
Right, Slizzard.
Here.
But
Slizzard.
him.
Old dude.
Should be connected to him.
Yeah, I know. Eve? No.
No, I can't find
No,
her.
anyway, some girl.
But yeah, it was a girl who had like no autonomy. She just did whatever Slizzard said, and Firo was just kind of like, oh, let me protect you from this creep here.
Yeah. It's just Baccano's great. It's just got that.
It's a Tarantino-esque story where time jumps constantly.
You can watch it, and I think there's a Netflix series coming out that they're saying you can watch it in any order, and your viewpoint on it, like it's specifically being made that you can watch any the entire show in any specific order. And I'm
I
like,
feel
that's
like you
kind
can
of
do that.
interesting.
Baccano.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always kind of wanted to go back and watch Baccano in like chronological order and see
See if you
how
even can.
if you can, yeah.
It jumps around so much.
Isaac and Mira are definitely my favorite characters. Just
It's gotta go
because
to Claire.
it's just so funny.
Isaac and Miri are great, but Claire's just.
I love Lad dancing in the blood. That scene was great.
Wear a white suit so your blood will show.
Yeah, the man knows how to operate. But yeah, so that was your number two. My number two, because you got your fucking spoilers.
Yup.
Code Geass.
Which is my number one.
So let's just talk about Code Geass.
Yeah.
Number two for me, number one for you.
Best ending in fiction.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a more satisfying ending that you could think of ever.
One that came out of left field at its time, really.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'd expect Lucius to fucking sacrifice himself.
first character to take over the world that I know of, too.
Even though it's foreshadowed just about from damn near the beginning.
Beginning of R2, or close.
Beginning
close
of the
to,
whole series. King's got to move first.
Yeah. It's
Who don't kill unless you're ready to be killed. Like
Yep,
he was
that-
laying those breadcrumbs from the very start.
It's like we all wanted him to live, but I don't know about you, but I don't think you've seen the movies either.
No.
The Resurrections.
Nope.
I've seen some scenes. There's one scene that I watched that I got some nice closure to, but I don't know if I want to watch it because of how good.
I've even watched the OVAs in between them.
You remember those?
Akito the Exiled.
Yeah, we watched the first 2 episodes. There's
Yeah.
like 4 of them.
The action
Because
was
they
good.
take place
They
in
brought
bet-
Lelouch in again for some
Well,
weird
it
reason.
takes place in between R1 and R2.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
and they had
Akito
him
the
as like
Exile.
brainwashed and like a general on their side or something. It was weird.
Lelouch did?
Yeah.
Really? Wow, that is weird.
They pulled some weird shit with that.
See, when you have such a good series and it just concludes perfectly, don't add
Don't
more
touch
shit
it.
to it.
Don't touch it.
But from the release of Resurrection, there's a scene of Lelouch and C2 leaving together to go live together in the countryside. So I watched that scene. I was like,
So did those movies just exist to give us that?
I think so.
They couldn't just leave it at the fan theories that Lelouch was the carriage driver?
Yeah, which I wanted him to.
No,
be
we
so
just
bad.
gotta do this to canonize it, guys. Let's bring everything back.
I still in my head canon. Resurrection doesn't exist. Lelouch was driving that carriage.
I am 100% there with you.
That's my head canon, and I will fight you for it. C2.
Because we saw Marianne die in the fucking thought elevation.
Yes.
She's not in there anymore. That whole machine doesn't even exist. C2's not talking to his mom in her mind anymore. She's talking to Lelouch.
Yeah, she's gotta be. So whether Lelouch exists in C's world or he's the carriage driver, one or the other, Lelouch is still around somehow.
I still even think, does C's world even exist anymore? With the thought elevator gone, I really think he is just the carriage driver.
I'm gonna go with it, and that's how I'm gonna go. It's just so good.
My favorite mecha
character.
fights.
I've never loved, and then hated again a fucking character as much as Suzaka.
It's true.
The
fights.
the fights, the mechs.
So those are the cleanest mech combat.
Charles Z. Britannia, only dude with shoulders and that some fucking mass in the series.
The cast. We've talked cast a lot already. Fucking Lelouch.
Dude,
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah Gottwald. Remember the name. Commit it to memory.
Committed to memory.
Even all the kids at the school.
Yeah,
I hate
some people bitch about the school stuff. I love the
So
school
good.
stuff.
Even
in
the two
Kokias.
quote unquote filler episodes, gold.
Even in hindsight, I didn't like it at the time as much. But even in hindsight, where they wipe his memory and shove him back into the school with Rolo, as much as I hate Rolo, still love those episodes.
Also loathe Rolo, and I hate that they try to make you like him at the end when he does his powers to get Lush out of the situation. But I'm like, first off,
But those first episodes, though,
yeah,
where he has to
Rolo.
like figure out being Zero while still holding up a front in front of people that are actively watching him.
Yeah, that phone call he had with Nina while with his sister.
Colin.
No,
Oh. Yes. Where he has Rolo stop the time so he could talk to
we both forgot her fucking
Nonali.
name. Nonali, yes.
That was incredible.
So good.
I held my breath when that fucking happened because the episode ends with Suzaku confronting him, being like, "Here's the call for you." And Nonali's like, and then the start of the next episode after. I'm holding my breath all week. I can't breathe. And then it fucking Rolo there. Just be like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Even then, I'm holding my breath right over again. Be like, oh, that's a great solution.
What if they recorded the fucking phone call? All it takes is a wiretap and he's
brutal.
done. It's because Schneisel wasn't part of it.
But I was even thinking of when he figures out Rolo's power. Where he sets up the timer in the room to figure out if he's stopping time or just stopping.
Perception of time.
Yeah. He's like, nope, that timer's still going. And I was counting in my head. Like, those moments are awesome. Sneaking out to go to the Chinese embassy while he's still being watched by the school.
Good.
Like,
all of it, so good.
And of course, two of the single greatest moments when he drops the fortification in the Tokyo settlement. When he drops the plates.
Yeah.
And he's laughing over the carnage.
Evil laughing. Ah, ha, ha.
And the end of R1 also was an incredible moment where
With
Suzaku
Suzaku
finally
and him
confronts him,
and they both
shoots
shoot
the helmet off, the hair
Biggest
flowing with the blood
cliffhanger
coming down.
Fucking ever. How are you
Colin mentally broken in the background. And he just leave me off on like that. Suzaku,
How? Yeah, and then the gunfire, and then just black screen. You're like, no, don't end there.
Fucking amazing.
It's so good, and I almost didn't watch it. You got me into it because the art style is very different.
Very skinny.
Lanky boys.
Put some potatoes in your meals.
Yeah, get past that, and you'll realize the true beauty that is Code Geass.
It's true.
And
I even like, and no one likes this, I don't know why they hate it so much. I even like the cat episode with the helmet. The
I
two
did too.
Code Geass fillers slap.
Yeah, I just mentioned that. I was like, they're both great. Yeah.
People don't know what they're talking about. Pizza.
She
With
too.
the
is
giant
amazing,
pizza.
and she deserves love. And
true.
she found it with with Lelouch.
All the waifus, too. Colin deserves love, too.
Yeah, well, she can go with Suzaku for all I care.
She can go with... fuck.
Bland
Oba.
boy from the
Yeah, yep. You knew exactly what I was going for.
I don't even know his name.
But he's taken by the noble chick. So she actually has to go for spiky-haired Black Knight guy, the annoying one. I want to be in charge of the treasury.
The guy that always... Why you ignore me? He always gets, like, offhand.
I've been here since day one with the Black Knights. Our glorious leader Zero. He's the one that almost got all the kids shot in the high school when they took over the high school. I know my boy Zero, and he'd want me to just shoot you guys and get it over with.
The dude's commitment in all the wrong areas. Jeremiah is great. I'm
Bismarck von Goldstein.
I am more for Lelouch and C2 than I was for Lelouch and Shirley. Shirley's story is so sad, but I didn't care as much for her character until that arc started where her father died. That's what really brought me into really liking her as a character.
Because she starts breaking away from being the just, I like you character. They started laying some depth onto her.
And then just...
That may be my actual
so
one gripe,
sad.
is how much they fucked with Shirley. Because they fucking kill her dad, wipe her memory. Well, actually, kill her dad, go through the mind reading shit with Mao, wipe her memory, bring her memory back, kill her.
Yeah, and then it's just so sad. He's trying to use his Geass on her. Don't die, don't die, don't die. I'm just like, ugh. So sad.
The moment Rolo died to him.
I still wanted Lelouch to end Rolo. I didn't want Rolo to try and get some stupid redemption arc.
I'll save you, big brother.
No. Kill him. You have killed so many people.
He was an asset.
Your hands are stained with blood.
That was a cool fucking scene, too. Rolo using the time stop powers against the nightmares over the sea, so they just fucking crash into the water.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
So that's his number 2 and my number 1.
Yes, because...
I was so confident we'd have the same number 1s.
Well, we had mentioned in either last week or the previous one but I did some serious...
Soul
searching. And did you see the number 1?
I didn't. I only saw Code Geass at number 2. Breaking my heart.
So, number 1, One Piece.
You know, I should have known just by it being excluded from the rest of the list.
It's just no other anime, just from when I first started it, no other anime. The manga is definitely a better consuming experience, but yeah, so no other anime, specifically talking about the anime here,
Okay. So I want to make sure.
gripped me and consumed my entire life. I lived, breathed, ate, slept, drank at One Piece. I caught up from because we've seen all of East Blue so many times at that time. This was after high school. This was probably 2012. So at the time when I caught up to One Piece, I believe it was at the end ish. Yeah, that it was in Punk. They were on Punk Hazard, which is the island after Fishman Island. So 2 islands into the post time skip. So I watched all of from Alabasta because I rewatched Alabasta, all the way up to Punk Hazard in like a month and a half.
In the anime form.
In the anime form.
Oh my God.
That is somewhere in the ballpark of 500 episodes.
Oh my God. And God knows how much time. Just by the fact it's anime.
That's all I did. Literally, I was working a full-time job, 8 hours a day, but I would come home at 5:30ish. I'd say I would get home. 5:30. From then until I was pushing it at night, I would be going to 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, go to sleep, Go to work, come home, do the same thing. Weekends, I just didn't sleep. Friday nights, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, sleep for 2 hours, wake back up, One Piece. It's just, and it's not, it's one of the greatest stories ever told. It's thousands of characters, all of them unique. It's not the highest sold manga of all time for no reason. You know what I mean? It's the biggest daunting of tasks to get into One Piece because of how long it is, but you will not. There's nothing like the experience. That's what it was that pushed me over it. I was like, there's no other anime that has the same experience as what it's like to be a One Piece fan that's caught up, and then you see all of the videos. Like, I watch videos of every other anime that I watch, edited videos of this, or theory videos of this. One Piece videos just hit different to me. And I was just like, there's got to be something special here. There's got to be a reason that One Piece hits different than all of these other animes. And it must be that it's my number one. And so that's where it is. And I need to see my boy become the Pirate King. It just has to happen. It's going to happen. I just need to know how it's going to happen. We've known it since episode 1. As soon as he said, I'm going to be the Pirate King, you're a main character, you're going to do it. Now show me how you're going to do it. Just like Naruto said he's going to be Hokage in the first episode. I knew he was going to be it. Show me how you're going to do it. And we saw that.
Just like Yuki Teru said he's a lonely, sad loser at the beginning of the anime. He did it. He's a lonely, sad loser.
Vigilantes?
No, fucking Future Diary.
Oh, yeah, fuck the Future Diaries. But it's just, I don't know, One Piece, man, the theory videos, and now with because, like, for so long, 25 years at this point, all it's been is theory videos. No one does world building better and foreshadowing better than Goda. But now, to be a One Piece fan now, and we're starting to get answers to these questions we've had for 25 years, 20 years. And it's just like, it's seeing characters that we haven't seen since pre-time skip that just showed up.
Literally years.
And it's just like, it's so good. And it's just, I don't know, it's amazing. It's going places, things are moving. Characters are finally doing things that have been doing nothing the whole series.
I wish it was easier to catch up. I know that's probably the plebist stance to ever pleb, but...
It's a lot, though. I mean, because I totally understand it, because you're like, oh, yeah, you're into Skypiea. I'm like, oh, that's decently far. And then you're like, it's chapter 200. I'm like, oh, that means you have 800. You have 800 more to catch up.
And I like it. It's just... It genuinely hasn't like hit me with like a hard hook yet, because I think Blue Lock took me a week to read like 192 chapters. Well, 2 weeks. Well,
I think too, because you were in it and you were going through it, but you've just
Alabasta flew by.
You've just been. It's just because you've always voiced your expressions of distaste towards Skypiea, and now you're in the middle of Skypiea.
And even though it's not as bad as my watching experience back in the day.
Mike, because
slower.
The whole thing is Skypiea is every YouTuber or whatever you watch will always say the same thing. Skypiea is so important because it's a microcosm of the entire story of One Piece. So it's very important. You can there's so much in Skypiea that you can draw to elsewhere, and it's just Skypiea is like very important without being connected to the story. Because it's really not that connected. There's nothing that really happens on Skypiea that is...
It's hard to be connected. You're in the fucking sky.
Yeah. But it's the story that happens up there that can be related to the entirety of the overarching
classism. Technically, racism's in there too. Because, I mean, the Shadians.
Yeah.
They treat it like racism, even though it's more...
So that's just for me, One Piece, man. It's just... Same thing. You got to think you've been over characters with each one. That we keep saying that. It's just like no one has a bigger cast of characters and the uniqueness between all of them. And then everyone always points to the character design. Yeah, character design is goofy and it's supposed to be that way. But the two goofiest people.
I actually wasn't going to bring it up this time.
The two goofiest people in the entire series are the most respectable people in the entire series. Bon Clay, Mr. 2, and Senior Pink. He's the dude that wears the diaper and the pacifier in his mouth. I'm sure
He's the one that looks like MODOK, like a giant head.
I mean, he has a large head, but he's not just a head. I don't know.
Because the way my brain is.
Yeah, I'll actually just show you a picture. I've definitely shown you a picture of Senior Pink before. Senior Pink. This guy.
Yeah, who I was thinking of? I didn't even know he exists.
Yeah, he's in Post Time Skip. He's in Dressrosa. But both of them, once, like, man, you just can't beat the level of respect I have for Senior Pink's backstory, and the reason he dressed the way he does is so wholesome. And then Bon Clay, Mr. Tool is...
Mr. Tool.
If I'm, like, guaranteed you right now, if...
Oh, it doesn't look like MODOK like I thought. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, that's, my brain. This is his name there.
Emporio Ivankov.
Ivankov, yes, thank you. He's great. He's in...
Yeah, surprising amount of answers on my search. For cross-dressing One Piece characters.
He's the king of cross-dressers. He's like a whole island of cross-dressers.
Bon Clay needs to find his way there.
Bon Clay was from there.
Oh. That makes some sense there.
New Kama Land is in Built Down, and Bon Clay's from there too. But if it wasn't for how Bon Clay's story ends not ends, because we as readers know it goes further, but as far as Luffy's concerned anyway, what happens to Bon Clay, if Bon Clay went with Luffy to Marineford, 1,000% he would be a Straw Hat. There's no way that the friendship that him and Luffy have at this point.
Oh my god, they even had it in Alabasta. They're like soul friends.
They're like BFFs, dude. And what he does for Luffy. Oh, true friend.
We'll get there someday. We'll
Another
get
one,
Naraku someday.
Oh, there's writing too. You're going to talk about good writing. It's like, who else can make you feel emotional over a boat?
We'll see if it makes me feel emotional over a boat, but I see what you mean.
You just said you cried to 6 out of 10 of your top 10 animes.
It's true, but those were over characters.
True. It was the character's reaction to the boat.
I think part of that is going to be a little robbed for me because of the fact I know that one's coming. Like, I think because I know the boat drama's coming, the boat drama's not going to hit me the way it hit the One Piece community.
Well, I think it's your next arc.
Yeah. So I think it's not going to hit me the way it would hit fans.
Maybe, but I mean, that's
we'll
the
see,
arc
though.
that's probably going to hook you back into it. Because his next arc is Enna's Lobby saga.
Finally. I say finally. I've had Robin for like one arc, but finally a Robin arc.
Because I'm pretty sure right after they land, they go to Water 7.
Best girl.
And Water 7 ties directly into Enna's Lobby, and then they return to Water 7. And then it's Thriller Bark, and then Sabiondi. And then Sabiondi is the Marineford whole thing. And that's the time skip. And then you're in the time skip. And the time skip from Fishman Island's its own thing. Luffy yells at Big Mom there. And then it's the start of the Yonko. He goes to Punk Hazard. And from Punk Hazard is everything he does after Punk Hazard and on Punk Hazard. The alliances he forms on Punk Hazard is a direct straight line to beating Kaido and Wano.
See, I'm kind of waiting to get more towards that.
Wano, anime-wise?
To get a little more central plot feely.
Marineford will do that to you.
Yeah.
Because pre-time skip is, people
It's just
have
a
their
tiny bit meandery.
It's adventure-esque. It's like the adventure of
Each island has great plots in it. Like, I loved the Giants one. Like, fucking Little Garden. Yeah, I loved
Dorian Bragi.
In fact, I loved everything but the fights, really.
That's the
Mr. 3 Wax.
Well, yeah, but that's the one.
Garbaggio.
Because that's after Arlong Park. Because Arlong Park foreshadows Fishman Island. We finally got there, but Little Garden foreshadows Elbath, and we still haven't been there. We've seen events that take place on Elbath through other characters, but the Straw Hats have never been to Elbath. And we're hoping so. Because they're right next to it. They're like from
Hop,
Wano.
skip, and a jump.
Well, because Wano, there's 3 island choices.
I actually saw a chart
One
of
what
them. Course each of them are on.
Yeah, kid went to kid went to Elbath.
I thought it was actually kind of, those paths were kind of interesting. That one of them that isn't Luffy is going to go to where Shanks is.
That's Kid.
Yeah.
Well, Kid's always wanted to
I
go
find
to
that
Shanks.
very interesting.
There's some things I could say about that, but I mean, Shanks' character's been getting a lot more love, so that's good.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, it's just it's a tough read. It is because of how long it is. It's daunting, but man, if you read through it and you get into it, it's like you're not gonna look back and be like, damn, I wish I didn't read One Piece. You're gonna be like, damn, I'm glad I read One Piece.
Damn, I should have read it sooner.
Yeah, maybe.
At this rate, I'm not gonna finish. I'm not gonna catch up before it finishes. Let's be real.
You got like 5 years, so
Maybe. You hope.
well, Otis says he wants to finish it in 3 to 5 years, but we know him, and he's been saying that forever, so it's just going to get pushed back. And he's even said himself, he's not going to rush the story to get it done faster. He says he's going to.
I do like that.
Which I'm also like, come on, man.
Too many mangas do.
Because there's still a lot of stuff we need to find out, but we are getting answers quickly, so. But it's good right now. It's good. It's great. It's One Piece. It's amazing. So to recap.
Your number one.
It's my number one. To recap, starting from number 10 for me, Rurouni Kenshin. 9 is Tenju Tenge. 8, Spice and Wolf. 7, Clanad. 6, Attack on Titan. 5, Kaguya-sama. 4, Bleach. 3, Tengen Toppa, Gurren Lagann. Number 2 is Code Geass. And number 1 is One Piece.
And for me, number 10, Angel Beats. Number 9, Space Dandy. Number 8, Soul Eater. Number 7, Wolves Reign. Number 6, My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Number 5, Yu Yu Hakusho, which I should have specified the anime. I have not read them more than one volume of the manga. Number 4, Full Metal Alchemist. Number 3, Chainsaw Man. Number 2, Baccano. And number 1, Code Geass. Only feeling slightly betrayed.
Only slightly.
Only slightly.
It was only in this past week that I really, because I mean, you asked me a week ago and I said it would be Code Geass, but
We
you
both
asked me
thought
today.
it would be.
It's just I did some soul searching this past week and I was like,
Well, I had to do soul searching too to figure out that Yu Yu Hakusho and Full Metal Alchemist rank this high.
no.
I was about to. That's the Dandadan thing. Dandadan was right in between Full Metal Alchemist and Yu Yu Hakusho.
For me, my hardest ones were Clanad, Attack on Titan, and Kaguya-sama. See, I have them written on the side here too, because I was like, I knew they fit in 5, 6, and 7, but I was like, which order do I put these in? Do I like Clanad more than I like Attack on Titan, or do I like Attack on Titan more than Kaguya-sama, or which ones do I like more of the 3? So I really had to give it some thought, and I slept on it too. I didn't make any decisions. I went to bed.
Yeah.
I woke up the next
Let
day,
yourself sleep.
thought about it at work, and then when I came home, then I made my final decision of the order that I put them in.
I replaced Dandadan this morning with Soul Eater and moved them around. Because again, Dandadan would have been number 5. There's something really special when I open up a Dandadan chapter
So good.
that I haven't gotten from anything else that's on that list. Not the same feeling, at least. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I walk away a satisfied man every chapter.
It's good stuff. And I mean, even for me, I guess the good the good stuff is that a few of them. Let's see how many. One Piece, potentially Bleach, Kaguya-sama, Attack on Titan, and Spice and Wolf all have new content for me to consume afterwards. So it's like more of my top 10s. I have more mediums to consume of my favorite stuff. You know what I mean? One Piece is still ongoing.
Just like how Hell's Paradise has another chance to make its way onto that list by having an anime.
Yeah.
Which again, no hate to Hell's Paradise. I think I can speak for both of us when we say it's just like the perfect baseline of a great a great story.
Yeah, and honestly, it's one of those that should end the way it is. I mean, the only thing they could have done was expand a little bit more of his foray with the Ninja Clan when he got back, but it's okay.
It wasn't even
it's
necessary.
great.
I was okay with it when they skimmed over it. I was surprised, but okay with it.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows how this list will change, but like I said, some of these on my list are still ongoing or have, like Spice and Wolf has a season 3 coming out. I'm sure the story's finished by now. I mean, it's an old
And if
series.
it ends up being bad, you can delete it from your memory. It won't change your feelings on Spice and Wolf.
Just like it did with Code Geass and everything after that.
Yup.
It's fan theory, that's all it is.
And Dandadan can absolutely make its way on my list higher and higher. I kind of also reserve that for Gachiakuta. I've read only like 30 chapters, but they were a damn good 30 chapters.
Yeah. I have to read it. It's in my
I have a lot to catch
interested
up on
list.
it with it. I
Yeah.
have like 12 chapters minimum, I think. I literally whatever day I told you I caught up to Gachiakuta, I immediately stopped reading it.
And yeah, who knows what? Maybe Kaiju number 8, fucking.
With a great anime adaptation,
animes.
or with a really good twist.
'Cause
If
I
they
don't-
do pull a Shibuya right now, it definitely has that.
Yeah, because it's got to do something. I don't think it'd breach my top 10 for at least Kaiju number 8. It's great, but
I'm
I
not
don't
even
think
sure if
it's-
it'll pass Hell's Paradise from you yet.
Yeah,
Until it does
yeah.
some sort of twist. Because Hell's Paradise also brought like a
Fucking
lot of
slaps.
uniqueness to the premise. Bringing all these dudes to an island. Like the setup felt new.
Yeah, man. It's just
With
so
a
many
slight
good
Attack on
animes.
Titan vibe. With the world being so hostile to them as it was.
Yeah, and it's an isolated
Giant
island.
monsters.
Giant monsters on an isolated island. But other than that, it's its own thing.
It
Flowers,
is.
the flower stuff, and all of it is just good
That
stuff.
anime's gonna slap.
But I think that's like the best as good
Yeah.
as any place to wrap it up right there.
If you haven't watched Code Geass, go watch it.
Go watch Code Geass. If you have the stamina, read One Piece.
After Code Geass.
Code Geass is a significantly shorter endeavor to.
Unless you're a real fast reader.
That's a hill to walk over. One Piece is a mountain to climb.
The version of that, it's like a planet to circumvent.
Well, quite literally with what One Piece's story is about.
It's true.
All of it, good stuff. Maybe you guys heard about his show you didn't know about, or
just
We
cried over a classic like Angel Beats.
yeah, or you got something that you're like, you know what, I'm gonna check that out now. I've
Or
heard
lit-
about it, but
Or learned a little bit more about us.
Just a little
Besides our names.
that we dropped in episode 1 if you missed it. But then
Yeah.
never again.
Dukes of Weedom, episode 5. This has been
Us. The Dukes of Weepdom.
and have a great day.
Bye-byes.